This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately.
It's a house!
It's a house? What are you talking about? Hello, freakazoids! How the hell's it going? Yeah, I knew every Tom, Dick, and Harry YouTuber would pick it up. Oh man, ooh, another one I can jump on. You know. Alright, what's going on? It's just... I can read people. It's just so obvious. You know. That was so loud. Oh, sorry. Oops. There we go. Yeah. Is that better? Yeah, you remember how I had to boost the audio up for the last stream? For that press conference? Well, that was still on. There's this little filter you can put on the audio and it goes up to like 10, so you just heard it still up 10 more than a normal. So like when you get it like a normal sound that we have on here, that's what you were just listening to. 10 extra decibels higher. Yep, but gray. So we're going to go over the probable cause document here in a minute, but I made a version of the press conference that plays just that first part, and I speeded up 15%, so it's only 15 minutes long for the people who missed it. And it's way better audio and more visually pleasing, I think. Yeah. So do you guys want to watch that? And then we'll play one thing. I want to. Let's just play the press conference first, and then I'll play an edited clip of the interview where he said what kind of tool he'd want to be, and then we'll do the probable cause. All right. But I'm going to be busy doing stuff tonight, so if you guys would like to help support the channel during the show, I'm turning off the Streamlabs thing, so there won't be any graphic on the screen or anything like that. Thanks, Katie Lucas. That'd be great. On this channel, like you guys probably heard 1,000 times, you guys support me and allows me to do what I do every single day on the show. I do 7 days a week, 3-hour shows basically, and well, I do a lot more now because I do 2 shows a day. And so you guys support the channel, and then I take a large portion of the income, usually over 50% of the net revenue, and give it to various charities out there. And we've given away $157,000, $157,600 since January of 2020, which isn't very long ago. All right, but it's been pretty amazing. So here we go. The press conference. Boost it up.
All set. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you all for coming. I'm standing here with my law enforcement partners in the Gilgo Task Force to announce the indictment of defendant Rex Andrew Heuermann, 59 years of age. Awesome. He's been arrested by the Suffolk County Police Department's homicide detectives, and he's been indicted in a grand jury presentation by the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office for the murders of Melissa Barthelemy, Megan Waterman, and Amber Costello. The investigation of Maureen Brainerd Barnes is ongoing. These young women went missing
So 3
between
of them.
July of 2007 and September of 2010. They were found in December of 2010 by the Suffolk County Police Department, and then there was nothing, absolutely nothing. For the next 13 years, their cases went unsolved until today. When I took office in January of 2022, I made Gilgo a priority.
Welcome,
I made Gilgo a priority before I took office. I met with the victims'
Thanks,
families,
Peter.
some of whom I'm proud to have standing with us today, and I told them that we were going to handle this case differently. We were going to do it differently, and that when I showed up, you weren't going to see me calling the media and being on Gilgo Beach with a giant magnifying lens looking for clues 12 years after the case. What I was going to do...
You know, one thing I'll say is I hope he's not going to be in court prosecuting anything. He doesn't speak quick enough and clearly enough to do that. I don't know if he was just really nervous here, but you know, it's a pretty big case. You need somebody that's just really like boom, 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 you know.
do was I was going to work with my task force. We were going to form a task force. We were going to work with the Suffolk County Police Department. We were going to work with the Suffolk County Sheriff's Office. We were going to work with the New York State Police. We were going to work with our FBI, and we were going to form this task force, and we were going to work together, and we were going to use the grand jury, the power of the grand jury, to reach a determination in this case. Because the grand jury has two things: it has power, it has reach. You could obtain documents, you could interview.
And me speeding it up makes it seem like he's quicker. I mean, this is 15% faster than normal. He sounded like a chipmunk at the speed that I had it set to.
Witnesses. But the other thing that the grand jury has, no one knows what you do when you operate a grand jury proceeding. And we knew that when we were investigating this case, and when we dealt with the media or whatever it was we were doing,
thanks, brown-eyed girl.
we were playing before a party of one, because we knew the person responsible for these murders would be looking at us. So we were very careful how we handled the investigation. We maintained the integrity of the investigation. Most importantly of all, we maintained the secrecy of that investigation, and I think that's paid dividends as we've seen today. Now,
Happy birthday.
you know, I
Happy
think
birthday.
that you know, when we
Happy birthday, brown-eyed girl. I think Mary Lou's out tonight.
had the task force, the first thing we did, got together with Suffolk County Police Commissioner Rodney Harrison, and we formed the task force. Our first meeting was February 1st of 2022. And what we did, all of the agencies here, we made the commitment. We were going to take our talented, almost talented investigators. So in the district attorney's office, we took ADAs, myself included. We took analysts. We took detective investigators. And they worked on a daily basis with other talented investigators from all of the agencies here. We started that in February 1st in 2022. 6 weeks later, on March 14th, 2022, the name Rex Heuermann was first mentioned as a suspect in the Gilgo case.
So yeah, did Heuermann, or whatever, however you pronounce it, did it turn into Herman, like Herman, Hermann? Maybe later, brown-eyed girl. We'll see if we can coax her out right at the end.
A New York State investigator was able to identify him in a database, and from that point on, we used the power of the grand jury. Over 300 subpoenas and search warrants looking into this individual's background to bring us to this day. So I'm proud. I know that this case is over, but I'm proud of what we've accomplished up to this point. I know we have more to accomplish, but I'm also thankful for the. I know in a similar fashion, in a similar location. I know a lot of people know about the case. As I indicated, the victims went missing between July of 2010 and July of 2007 and September of 2010. In December of 2010, they were their bodies were recovered. They were buried in a similar fashion, in a similar location, in a similar way.
Belt,
all the women
mean?
were petite.
Yeah.
They were. They all did the same thing for a living.
Yeah, we talked about
they
the
all
belt
advertised
earlier.
the same way. and there were immediately there were similarities with regard to the crime scenes. All the women were bound at the head, at the midsection, or at the chest, and later at the legs. The other thing I think that that's been talked about in the
well, I think it was okay once they started talking about it. He gave away a lot of information.
The media was they were bound by burlap. That has taken a life of its own in the media, and the burlap has been described or thought.
Yeah, I always pictured it being like burlap sack, like for potatoes or something.
To be the burlap that's used at a nursery for. That's not the burlap that was used in this case. The burlap was camouflage burlap used for duck blinds of hunting. Obviously it was used to purposely hide the bodies. One thing that became immediately apparent was at the time of each of the murders, the murderer, the defendant Heuermann, he got a cell phone and a burner phone, which is prepaid and anonymous. And for each of the murders, he got an individual burner phone, and he used that to communicate with the victims. Then shortly after the death of the victims, he then would get rid of the burner phone. And right away in December of 2012, FBI cast analysts, special agents with the cast unit of the FBI, they immediately began looking at that cell site data. They compared the victims' phones with the burner phones, and they immediately honed in on some similarities, specifically in the Massapequa Park area. And they looked at an area of a confluence of 4 cell towers. And they realized that this had significance because the perpetrator of these crimes was probably located within this area at or around the times of the murder. And that was mapped out. That was called the box, and it was an area in Massapequa Park. The FBI also managed to do that for an area in Midtown Manhattan. And so that was an investigative lead. The other investigative lead at the time was, even though there was a significant amount of time that elapsed with regard to before the victims were recovered, there was some significant evidence recovered. Specifically, there was a hair recovered from Maureen Brainerd Barnes from a belt buckle that was around her legs. With regard to Megan Waterman, there were 3 hairs recovered from her. One from around.
Apparently, the hairs that they found were his wife's hair, which absolutely links him to the crime.
Her
she was out of
area,
town, if you remember.
Her leg area in the burlap.
So remember, she was out of town during all 3 of the murders that they're charged with murder, and her hair is at the crime scene. So that means he brought it there. I mean, anybody with a brain. It doesn't grade. The wind could have blown it. We just don't know.
And then there was one caught in between.
If you wonder why I sound like that, because we have a lot of ludicrous people that have YouTube channels who come up with the craziest, wild conspiracy theories you've ever heard in your entire life. They come up with stuff that is so unlikely, yet it's possible, and run with it for hours and hours, talking about things that are so unlikely, but it's fun for them. I like to try to figure out actually what happened. How about you guys? Yeah.
Hey, and that was recovered. Amber Costello also had a significant hair that was recovered during the time of the recovery. But again, the crime scene, because it was out there for so long and because it was exposed to the elements, those hairs were degraded, so you couldn't use traditional DNA analysis on it. You would have to wait.
No, this squad here is way better than the Delphi. It was the people before these guys that sucked. These guys took a hold of this case in 2002 and they already have an arrest made in like a year and a half.
And use mitochondrial DNA. And back in 2010, the technology wasn't there for mitochondrial DNA. So the investigation proceeded, but also technology proceeded as well. And then in January and February of 2022, we formed the task force. We began working collectively.
Thank you,
and
Eugenie.
Then a mere 6 weeks later, on March 14th, 2022, Rex Heuermann was identified for the first time. And the manner in which that was done was the New York State investigator looked at a database. Amber Costello, the day before her disappearance on September 1st, 2010.
This is This is a crazy story, but he's got to be clear when he's telling. Like if he does it at court, he can't be the yeah. I mean like this, because it looks like you're not really sure what you're talking about. I mean, I'm not saying I'm any better, but I'm saying that when you're selling something in court, you can't be like that. And this is pretty crazy what he's about to say. Is I think this is the one where it was a ruse where she brought him in as she's a sex worker, Costello, brought him in and he already paid, and then these guys ran in pretending to be, like one of them was her boyfriend, pretending to be, so that he would leave and then she could just keep the money without having sex with him.
Met with an individual for the purposes of having him pay her money for her services, but she involved herself in a ruse where once the individual gave her money, and other individuals came into the house, pretended to be significant others, confronted the individual with the purpose of making that individual uncomfortable, having him leave without retrieving his money, and that's exactly what happened. So that individual was identified as a person who was between 6'4" and 6'6", a large man, thickly built.
He's
not
huge.
Necessarily overly muscular, but just a naturally big person with glasses, white, and dark hair. Also of significance was that the fact that he was driving a dark-colored black first generation Chevrolet Avalanche with a very unique feature that was between it's a pickup truck, so it was between the cab and the bed, and that was identified. Again, that was back in 2010, but it wasn't until March of 2022 that database was searched by the task force.
This is over in 5 minutes, Emily.
And this individual
God, so many complainers.
was identified.
Come on, you guys.
That individual was Rex Heuermann, the defendant. And right away, there were some commonalities that came right to the fore. Rex Heuermann, 6'4", largely a large person, not necessarily muscular, but a very physically large person. He has glasses. He has the dark hair, and also of particular note, he owned at the time that first generation Chevy Avalanche. But there was more. He lived at 105 First Avenue, which was located within that box area that the FBI.
He looked like a hobbit. He wouldn't be 6'5". Doesn't make any sense.
First discovered in 2012. But there was more. Also, he worked at the time at an architect he owned his own architectural firm.
Hey, thanks so much. 655. Boom. Cheers, Gray, on the occasion in honor of all you contribute. Well, thank you. Yeah, we've covered the Long Island serial case on many different occasions, probably, I don't know, 6-7 times, something like that over the years.
At an address at 19 West 36th Street in Midtown Manhattan, and that was also the area of interest that was identified by the FBI in 2012.
Troll.
Again, that was March 14th, 2022. And from that point on, our partners and my office, we used the grand jury to continue to investigate, and we executed over 300 subpoenas, search warrants pertaining to this individual to find out more information.
Rex Heuermann, the tallest hobbit there ever lived.
One of the things that we did is we followed him because we wanted to get an abandonment sample of his DNA, which we were able to.
I actually think he looks like Tucker Carlson's chubby older brother.
We also got DNA samples, abandonment samples from his family. And then we went back and we got mitochondrial DNA testing. And with regard to, there's an aspect of New York State law that doesn't allow me to talk about DNA testing, specifically at press conferences. It's so I can't do that. However, at the arraignment, and also when we filed our bail letter, we talked about the significance of that evidence. So if anyone needs to see that, but suffice to say, that evidence was significant, especially with regard to the other evidence that we had developed. But it was there was another interesting aspect. We looked at the Heuermann family travel records, and we learned that during the murders of the last three women, Barthelemy, Waterman, and Costello, that during the commission of those murders, the defendant's wife and children were out of New York State, and he was alone in the tri-state area. We also went...
Well, you know, most of the stuff he's going to say is going to be on the probable cause. So how about we'll just call that good. You can go watch it. There's 1,000 places to go watch it. But let me play this other video here, the tool video.
Okay. All right, my last question. If you were a tool or an object to help you in your to help you,
I'll put all the links in the description at the end. There's so many of them.
To bring your business to greater heights, what would it be?
That's an interesting question.
I know.
Because for what I do, we have to have so many tools in the toolbox.
Just one.
Just one.
Just one.
One of the things I learned from my father was furniture building. I have one tool that's pretty much used in almost every job, and it's actually a cabinet maker's hammer.
Okay, cabinet maker hammer. Okay.
It is persuasive enough when I need to persuade something.
Not someone.
Something. And it always yields excellent results. Yeah. And at the end of the project, whatever piece of furniture or what I'm working on, it always helps it come out beautifully.
Okay, great. So you would be kind of that kind of hammer for your business? That's what you're saying? If that doesn't exist, that's what you would be?
Sometimes I have to be the heavy framing hammer.
The heavy framing hammer.
Other times I'm the lightweight hammer just to nudge things along.
All right.
You know, the guy laughing so much doesn't really, it doesn't age well, you know what I mean? It's pretty crazy. He's just, laughing at, probably in that Heuermann's mind there, he was thinking about what he uses it for, you know? All right, here we go, everybody. We're going to get going on it. We already went through, so it was first-degree murder, 3 first-degree murders, and 3 second-degree. Wait, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so they haven't charged anybody for Barnes yet, but they think it's related. They just haven't found any direct. Let me just say something. We use common sense here on this channel. It works the best. There's some people that don't do that, but so you've got Costello right here, Barthelemy, Barnes, Waterman, and Barnes is right here. Of course, she's related to these 4, right? Obviously. Then look at this. Just right down the road here is an Asian male, and he was actually he was wearing female clothing, so he was likely a sex worker too. And the probable cause, which we'll see later, he searched. There was some searching for, a gay Asian male, right? You got that one. Then we have Jessica Taylor here, who's also a sex worker. Then right down here we have Valerie Mack. She's 5 foot, 100 pounds, just like the rest of them, with hazel eyes. Okay, I think at least these 7 are related here. I mean, the odds of some other, are we supposed to believe? Well, let me just say it this way. I think it's possible, no matter what we look at here, I think he's aware of and related to all of the victims that are dead there. And I don't mean related like genealogy-wise. I mean somehow either he did it or a connection with somebody else is there. There's no chance that this is just sort of this random dumping ground that 2 completely random serial killers started dumping bodies, some of them intermingled with the others. I mean, give me a break. This is only from the very first one here to here, it's 2.3 miles. You get what I'm saying? I mean, how in the hell could this be that they're not related? And he's lived right here for all of the years of all of them. So that would be a perfect place for him every single time. He didn't just move here recently or something, or in 2010, and started using that place. He's lived right there. I think he just changed his MO on these 4 because they were later and earlier did these other ones. Doesn't that make more sense than going, yeah, well, they're just not connected? To me it does. I really don't get it. They're connected some way, no matter what, in my opinion. I mean, if they're looking at it for some other way, then wow, really? All right, hold on. Got to get the music going again. It was too quiet. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to start over from earlier. And this is 32 pages long. And when we get to the really technical stuff, I'm not, it's like to get through this all, I'll just show the maps that they have on the screen. And then later I'll probably try to do something on my own. Thank you, Kathy Freidenmaker. Yeah, so thanks, Eugenie, 655, Aaron, Your Gypsy, Kathy Freidenmaker, and Mag, Katie Lucas, Peter Brown-Eyed Girl, whose birthday it is. Are you still there, Brown-Eyed Girl? I think Mary Lou. I heard Mary Lou in the background over here.
Who, me?
Yes, I hear you. Brown-Eyed Girl's birthday. You gotta sing her happy birthday.
Happy birthday to Brown-Eyed Girl. Happy birthday to Brown-Eyed Girl. Happy birthday, dear Brown-Eyed Girl. Happy birthday to you.
And many more.
Thanks, John Boy.
Hey, that was terrible, Mary Lou. Absolutely god awful. But anyways, happy birthday to Brown-Eyed Girl, who might be out there. Let's see. Yeah, she wasn't. Didn't sing that too well. No, if she shows up, let me know. I got it. We were just right in the middle of the press conference where Mary Lou was. She was on the toilet at that point. No, I wanted to. You're like one of the people like, oh my God, if it's your birthday, you got to do it. But it was just like right in the middle of that press conference. And Mary Lou was sitting on the toilet doing number 2, if you know what I'm saying. You're gonna picture Mary Lou sitting on a toilet. Oh boy, that's not good. All right, here we go. Yeah, that is TMI. Absolutely. That was so true. Everyone looks like a serial killer once they're arrested for being a serial killer. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yep. All right, here we go. As described below, based on the serious, heinous nature of these serial murders, the planning and forethought that went into these crimes, the strength of the people's case, the length of incarceration the defendant faces upon conviction, the extended period of time that this defendant was able to avoid apprehension, is his recent searches for sadistic materials, child pornography, images of the victims and their relatives, counter surveillance, conducted online as to the criminal investigation, his use of fictitious names, burner, email, and cell phone accounts, and his access to any history of possessing firearms, the only means to ensure defendant Rex A. Heuermann's return to court is to remand him without bail. On December 11, 2010, police officer John Malia was conducting a training exercise with his canine partner Blue along Ocean Parkway in Gilgo Beach, Suffolk County, New York. During the course of the training exercise, Blue located a set of human remains. The remains were later identified to those of Melissa Barthelemy. I thought they were found in the, they were looking for another, what's her name? Hold on a second, my brain isn't, Shannon Gilbert. And I don't know why they're saying training exercise. Maybe they did one anyways. 2 days later, on December 13, 2010, the SCPD continued to search in proximity to where the remains of Melissa Barthelemy were recovered. On that date, members of the SCPD found 3 additional sets of human remains within 1/4 mile of the first discovery. These 3 additional sets of remains were identified as those of Maureen Bernard Barnes, Megan Waterman, Amber Costello. The cause of death of all 4 women was determined to be homicidal violence. And on the previous show, I manually typed in each one of these GPS coordinates in this document, and they all landed exactly where I have the pins anyways. Now they also measured it too, and so I guess they have 810 feet, then there's 25 feet and 33 feet. But so that means, the first, I don't know if it's 810. That doesn't look, does it say 81? That can't be 810 feet. Hold on a second. I think they missed, that's an error in their document. Just a second. Costello to, let's do feet. No, that is 828. No, that's crazy. So if that's 828, 253, what do they have in there? Okay, yeah, so this is 251, 3 feet. I thought it said 35 feet. Okay. So it's 810 feet, and then 251 feet, and 353 feet. But what they didn't do is measure the Asian male, which is probably, he's about twice the distance, 1,456 feet. But probably exactly from Costello to Waterman, and then Waterman to the Asian male. Let's see the distance there. So from Costello to Waterman is 1447. Then from Waterman to the Asian male, it's 1454. I mean, that's like exactly, Waterman's exactly in the middle of both of these, Costello and the Asian male over here. Isn't that interesting? The investigation into these deaths were linked, as in addition to other factors, the victims each appear to have been placed in close proximity to one another, 22 to 33 feet from the edge of the parkway. All were petite females, approximately 22 to 27 years old, believed to be working as sex workers. All had missing clothing and personal possessions. All had been killed by homicide. All had contact shortly before their disappearance with a person using a burner cell phone. Cell phones without associated verified identity, that's what that means, and the cell phone of 2 of the 4 victims, Bernard, Barnes, and Barthelemy, were used by the killer after their deaths. In addition, each of the 4 victims were found similarly positioned, bound in a similar fashion by either belts or tape, with 3 of the victims found wrapped in a burlap type material. Now we know that the burlap material was actually camouflage used for duck blinds, so it made it hard to spot from the road. Look how stupid these people are that show up. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Hold on, let me check something really fast. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but a lot of people didn't read it. Okay, that's why we're going over it. I mean, you probably know that, right? Yeah. In January 2022, the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office assigned an experienced team of investigators, analysts, and prosecutors to work jointly with law enforcement partners from the Suffolk County Police Department, New York State Police, Suffolk County Sheriff's Office, and Federal Bureau of Investigation. A comprehensive review of every item of evidence and information in this investigation was undertaken by the team. On March 14, 2022, approximately 2 months into the renewed joint investigation, this comprehensive review led to the discovery of a first-generation Chevrolet. And by the way, I shouldn't respond to trolls, but the troll said that you guys can't see, so if you're just out there listening, you wouldn't know what they said. This idiot said, "I already read it hours ago, 30 minutes in, and all we know is some chick took a crap. Great true crime channel." Well, that means you didn't pay attention, moron, because we played the press conference and another video, and then we just sang a happy birthday to Brown-Eyed Girl, and we're right on to the probable cause. So that means your brain doesn't work correctly. You might want to go get that checked out. Maybe take some medication of some sort. All right? Good luck. Whew, wow. Hey, look at it. It's Cairo again. Just like old times, huh? I've been working, haven't had a chance. Thank God, great reading. Well, I'm going to keep going through it. So just keep listening. Keep listening. On March 14, 2022, at approximately 2 months into the renewed joint investigation, this comprehensive review led to the discovery of a first-generation Chevrolet Avalanche. So the Chevrolet Avalanche that was registered to defendant Rex A. Heuermann at the time of these murders. As described below, this was significant because a witness to the disappearance of Amber Costello identified a first-generation Chevrolet Avalanche as the vehicle believed to have been driven by her killer. This discovery led to a comprehensive investigation of defendant Heuermann, or Heuermann, however you want to say. I'm just going to call him Heuermann, which consisted of over 300 subpoenas, search warrants, and other legal process to obtain evidence. And that was because of the grand jury, and they're able to get subpoenas for all kinds of things. And that's exactly what happened in the Idaho 4 murder case. And those are all secret, and so we don't get to know what was on any of those things. But I guarantee it led to a lot more. Hey, thanks, Maxine Van Dyke. As discussed more fully below, among the items uncovered were cell phone billing records for defendant Heuermann, corresponding to cell site locations for 1, the burner cell phones used to arrange meetings with 3 of the 4 victims. So that means Barnes is the one that they haven't been able to really nail in like the rest of them. The taunting calls, number 2, the taunting calls made to relative of Miss Barthelemy. 3, a call made by a detective to Miss Barthelemy's cell phone while looking into her disappearance. And 4, calls checking voicemail on Miss Brainerd's Barnes cell phone after her disappearance. In addition, Heuermann lived in Massapequa Park, where the victims were believed to have disappeared from, and he worked in Midtown Manhattan in the vicinity where the taunting calls were made to the sister of Miss Barthelemy. As set forth more fully below, defendant Rex A. Heuermann is believed to be the person who used the burner cell phones to communicate with each of the 4 victims prior to their disappearance, and who used Miss Brainerd Barnes' cell phone and Miss Barthelemy's cell phone after their death. Both defendant Heuermann and these burner cell phones had significant connections to both Midtown Manhattan and Massapequa Park, New York. And above, when they mentioned the Chevrolet Avalanche, let me show you a couple things here. Somebody sent me this. It was the same street view. Just a second. Yeah, Google Maps. I think that's it. So, I went in like this, right? So this is 2000 and what is this? This is 2011, right? And there's that car with the green tarp on it. But watch this. If you go down one little tick this way, it's still 2011. But you turn around and there it is. The Avalanche is there because they splice different video or little clips together on Google Earth to get the 3D image. So there's his Avalanche out on the street, right where in the 2007 video, The Avalanche is parked back here, and there's another car here, but the same little Jeep is parked back there. I don't know if that's the same Jeep or not, but it does look like an old Jeep, and it almost seems like it has the same green tarp on the top. I think it's interesting to me. Now, when you look at this right here, I'm starting to lean towards that being the same Jeep. It looks really old. It's got the green tarp on the top. Then you go to the 2011 shot, and there it is right there. Wow, that's interesting too. Hold on. Yeah, so look at that. It looks like the same one to me. And let me look at the 2007 again. Let's see something. Yeah, I don't think this thing even moves really. So that tire is just to the right of that line there. And it's still just to the right of that line, but it, you know, that's where you would put it. But it almost seems like back here it was driven, you could still drive it. And you go to this one, and it looks like it's just absolutely been metal taken off of it, almost completely, like over time, parts removed from it. I'm wondering if that's the vehicle that was used. I think he was taking the victims back to his home, and hence his wife was out of town. I mean, it's possible, right? Hey, thanks, CaliGal3. This is so exciting, guys. Gray doing standing job as usual. Hey, appreciate it. You wouldn't know it, though, by some of the trolls out there, but hey, appreciate it. What do you guys think of that as a possibility? I mean, it looks like it's almost too old to even drive, so I wouldn't say it's likely that that was used, but it's weird that it's been dismantled right there in the middle of his driveway. Let me see. So this tire comes down and it's almost like halfway to the ground. Let's see if the other one does that. 2007. Let me go to the 2007 one. Maybe it's a little higher. I don't know. I just can't tell. It just seems so weird why you can have another Jeep sitting in the same spot that's old. Anyways, let's get back to the document. Both defendant Heuermann and these burner cell phones had significant connections to both Midtown Manhattan and Massapequa Park, New York. Maureen Bernard Barnes was last seen on July 9th, 2007 in New York City. So that's who we're talking about right now. The disappearance and murder of Maureen Bernard Barnes. Maureen Barnes was last seen on July 9th, 2007, which is interesting because that street view right there is, like we were saying earlier, is October 2007. Just a few months later. And here's these two vehicles in here. Was this used to dump the bodies? And was this one used to just drive around regularly? And this one, I don't know. Very strange. She was believed to be working as a sex worker. Hey, thanks, not your average chick. On July 6, 2007, Miss Barnes' cell phone was contacted by a burner cell phone. Okay, everybody? So now there's a burner phone that's calling Barnes. Between July 6, 2007 and July 9, 2007, there were 16 interactions between this burner phone and Bernard Barnes' cell phone. On July 9, 2007, the last cell site location for Bernard Barnes' cell phone was at 11:56 p.m. in Midtown Manhattan, right where he works, near the 59th Street Bridge. I crossed that when I was there. Thereafter, the Bernard Barnes cell phone had no further activity until July 12, 2007, so 3 days later. On July 12, 2007, 3 days after her disappearance, 2 outbound calls were made from her phone, checking her voicemail from a cell site location near the Long Island Expressway in Islandia. Hey, thank you to Gwendolyn B. Another break in a major case. 2023 has been crazy. Yeah, I mean, it's been insane. Lots of people going to prison where they belong. Not Your Average Chick said, so glad this monster is off the streets. Hi, freaks. All right. The disappearance and murder of Melissa Barthelemy. Melissa Barthelemy was last seen on July 10, 2009 in New York City. At that time, she was believed to be working as a sex worker. On July 3, 2009, So first one was 2007, then 2009. I think we should, let me keep track of this so I don't have to keep wondering, when you're... Does anybody want to take... Oh, I can do it. All right. So we have Maureen Barnes, and she was last seen on July 9th, 2007. Okay. Then we have Melissa Barthelemy. She was last seen on July 10th, 2009. So basically 1 day later, the next year, 2 years later, so almost exactly 2 years later. At that time, she was believed to be working as a sex worker. On July 3rd, 2009, Miss Barthelemy was contacted by a burner cell phone. Second. Okay. Thereafter, the Barthelemy cell phone was contacted by this burner cell phone on July 6th, July 9th, and on July 10th, which was the last day she was seen alive. On July 10th, 2009, cell site records indicate the burner cell phone traveled from Massapequa Park to Midtown Manhattan. So, right from the area he lives to where he works. Later that evening, the Barthelemy cell phone traveled from Midtown Manhattan, probably back home, right? Back to Massapequa. So then it goes from where he works to where he lives, with the last cell site location being in Massapequa on July 11th, 2009, at approximately 1:43 a.m. On July 11th, 2009, Miss Barthelemy's cell phone was used to make an outbound call, checking her voicemail from a cell site location in Freeport. On July 11th, so he probably got off on listening to people worrying about her. Why would he need to listen to her cell phone? Who cares? On July 11th and July 12th, 2009, the Barthelemy phone made 2 more outbound calls, checking her voicemail from cell site locations in Babylon. On July 17th, July 23rd, August 5th, August 19th, and August 26th, 2009, the Barthelemy phone, man, this person, what a dummy, Jesus. The Barthelemy phone made taunting phone calls. So this person kept the phone and was just getting off on the worry and fear that other people had. So he kept making these phone calls, on July 17th. I mean, that's 7 days after she went missing. Then July 23rd, 2 weeks after she went missing. And then 3 weeks, and then 5 weeks, and then 6 weeks later. He's still making phone calls with her phone. The Barthelemy phone made taunting phone calls to Miss Barthelemy's family members, some of which resulted in a conversation between the caller, who was a male, and a relative of Melissa Barthelemy, which I believe is the sister, in which the male caller admitted killing and sexually assaulting Miss Barthelemy. As described below, the cell site locations of the Barthelemy phone. I guess it's really safe for a killer to use a victim's cell phone because it doesn't lead to you really at all, unless there was like instantaneous satellite camera, boom, right on the call, right? Which resulted in a conversation between the caller, who was male, and a relative of Melissa Barthelemy, in which the male caller admitted killing and sexually assaulting Miss Barthelemy. As described below, the cell site location of the Barthelemy phone during these taunting calls were all in Midtown Manhattan. And what a great place just to hide in plain sight. He could literally, what would be interesting though, if he was right downtown, or he wouldn't probably do it outside because there's cameras everywhere. But if he just called from his office or something, I mean, there's no way in hell. I wonder why they couldn't triangulate and know exactly where he was standing. Because if he was at Times Square or something like that, forget it. I mean, who knows? There's probably, at any given time, 2,000 people with phones in their ears at Times Square at any given moment, right? As described below, the cell site location of the Barthelemy phone during these taunting calls were made in Midtown Manhattan. Now we're on to Megan Waterman. Is this, you guys following along pretty well? It's pretty easy. Megan Waterman was last seen alive at the Holiday Inn in Hapa, New York on June 6, 2010 at approximately 1:30 a.m. This one's actually on, let's see, let me show you this. I think I can just probably pull it up somewhere. Let's see, is there a video somewhere? Just quickly, yeah, like right here, see?
Never before seen
That's
video
her.
released by Suffolk County Police could help solve the Gilgo Beach murders.
Yeah. So that's her walking around. Megan Waterman was last seen alive at the Holiday Inn in Hapa, New York. I bet you Cairo's stayed there before. On June 6, 2010 at approximately 1:30 a.m. At that time, she was believed to be working as a sex worker. On June 5, 2010, Miss Waterman's cell phone was contacted by another burner cell phone. So let's see. On June 6th, I gotta put her in there too. So Megan Waterman. I'm just putting when they were last seen. So this is June. So this guy likes to do this in the summertime. June 6, 2010. At that time, she was believed to be working as a sex worker. On June 5, 2010, Miss Waterman's cell phone was contacted by another burner cell phone. So far, all three were contacted by a burner cell phone, which had just been activated that day. So this person bought the cell phone specifically for contacting Megan Waterman. Thereafter, the Waterman phone communicated with the burner cell phone on June 6, 2010 at approximately 1:31 a.m., which is around the time Megan Waterman was captured on video surveillance exiting the Holiday Inn. So what you just saw was around that time in Hapa for the last time. Following that communication, the burner cell phone had no further phone activity. However, cell site records show that Waterman's phone traveled to Massapequa, again where he lives, Massapequa Park, with the last cell site location being in Massapequa Park at approximately 3:11 a.m. in the vicinity. So maybe she was even still alive at that point. But see, doesn't that mean that it's kind of likely she was taken home to his house at that point? I mean, this guy could turn out to be, an absolute. There could be way more bodies out there, you guys. This is just a place that they were found. I mean, the odds of them being found were really remote, but they were found. So are there other places where he dumped bodies? I mean, this guy, I think he's responsible for every single body of those 7 bodies in that small stretch there. Amber Costello was last seen alive on September 2nd. So now we're on to Amber Costello. This one's really interesting right here. Amber Costello was last seen alive on September 2nd, 2010, leaving her residence at 111, that's weird. That's almost the same as, oh my God, everybody, 1122 King Road. And the other one is isn't it 11? Oh God. Yeah, American Avenue in West Babylon during the late evening hours. At that time, she was believed to be working as a sex worker. On September 1st, 2010, the day prior to the disappearance of Amber Costello, Miss Costello's cell phone, so let's see. She was last seen, and there it is, September. Let's get that in there. So another summer, a little later in the summer though. Hold on, let me just, I gotta check something here really quick. Just for the hell of it. I mean, that's kind of a weird, doesn't mean a damn thing. I just forgot what the address was I'm in the wrong place. That's right, I got rid of all the pinned. Yeah, isn't this one here? This one's 1122, and isn't this one 11? Yeah, now I can't remember. Hold on. Yeah, 1112. That's funny. Yeah, what are the odds? Crazy. I knew my brain wasn't too vegged out on that. Yeah, the one with the camera is I know it's 1122. I've said it 100 times. I'm saying the 1112 is where the camera was, which is the same exact 4 digits, but it doesn't mean a damn thing. I'm just, I was like, whoa, look at that. At that time, she was believed to be working as a sex worker on September 1st, 2010. So she was last seen on September 2nd. On September 1st, 2010, the day before the disappearance of Amber Costello, Miss Costello's cell phone was contacted. They should just say her cell phone was contacted by a burner cell phone. On September 1st, 2010, this burner cell phone had communicated with the Costello phone at approximately 11:33 p.m., so pretty late at night. At 11:34 p.m., during those communications, the burner cell phone connected to cell site towers in West Amityville and Massapequa Park. So right there, that's where the calls are being made from, his house. Thereafter, the burner cell phone traveled to West Babylon in proximity to the residence of Amber Costello and had contact with Costello's phone at approximately 12:05 a.m. on September 2nd, 2010. So just really early in the morning, 5 minutes into the morning on February 2nd, 2010. According to witnesses, around the time of these communications between the burner cell phone and the Costello phone on September 1st to the 2nd, 2010, a prostitution client showed up. And so here's another one. So it says the burner cell phone and Costello's phone. Let's just start this part over. According to witnesses, around the time of these communications, like around the time that Rex was communicating with Costello, between the hours, between the burner cell phone and Costello's phone on September 1st, late at night, and then the early morning hours of 2010, a prostitution client showed up at Mrs. Costello's residence. That is Rex Heuermann, located in West Babylon, New York. After the client entered the home, that's Rex, a ruse was executed on that client, whereby a person pretending to be the outraged boyfriend of Amber Costello and the client left from the residence. So it says, a ruse was executed on the client whereby a person pretended to be the outraged boyfriend of Amber Costello, and then after that, the client left the residence, while Amber Costello retained the money the client had brought to pay. So he went there to pay for sexual services, and that never happened because he left the place because of a ruse. Probably didn't want something, get killed or whatever. Based upon interviews, that client was described as large. So this is what they said. He was a large white male, approximately 6'4" to 6'6" in height, in his mid-40s, with dark, bushy hair and dark, bushy eyebrows. Just kidding, doesn't say. And big, oval-style 1970s type eyeglasses. A witness described him to police as appearing like an ogre, or like Zozo says, a hobbit. Furthermore, a witness noticed a first-generation Chevrolet Avalanche parked in the driveway of the residence. So look at that. The Chevrolet Avalanche was actually parked there at the house where Costello lived. Furthermore, a witness noticed a first-generation Chevrolet Avalanche parked in the driveway of the residence. According to the witness, following the ruse, this client said, and that this is Rex, he was just her friend. Tell her I'll give her a call. And he walked out the front door. Thereafter, let's see, this mirrors the physical attributes of defendant Rex A. Heuermann with a large, At approximately 1:18 a.m., so the same day here, we're on the 2nd. So, let's see, so what happened at right after. It was something, 12:05. They had contact with Costello's phone at approximately 12:05. All right, so they kept communicating, and then at approximately 1:18 a.m. on September 2nd, after the ruse had been perpetrated, the burner cell phone sent a text message. So Rex's phone sent a text message to Costello's phone, which stated, "That was not nice. So do I get credit for next time?" Phone records show that the burner phone was located in Massapequa Park, again, where Rex Heuermann lives, within 2 minutes of this text message being sent. According to a witness, later the next day, on September 2nd, I guess just sort of during the day, Miss Costello was again contacted by the same client that was in the house the night before with the Avalanche. Further, Amber told us that he wanted to see her again. So Amber literally told their friends, "Wow, he wants to see me again." But he didn't want to come back to the house because of her boyfriend. Right, so she wants the money now, so she's going to have to... that's crazy. So now she's going to be taken out of her environment. Thereafter, on September 2nd, 2010, at approximately 9:32 p.m., the same burner cell phone, so this is just way later in the same day, burner cell phone from the previous evening again communicated with Costello's phone. This is 9:32. During this communication, the burner cell phone, I bet he said, "Hey, I'll give you even more money. I'll give you more." Or like, "You owe me money, but I'll give you an extra, whatever the hell it is. During this communication, the burner cell phone used a cell site location in Midtown Manhattan. Following this communication, and based upon the cell site records, the burner cell phone traveled, so that means he was probably downtown still like after work. And then after this, and based on cell site records, the burner cell phone traveled to Massapequa Park and had contacts with Costello's phone at 10:39 and 11:05 p.m. Cell site records for the burner phone indicate that approximately 11:17 p.m., the phone traveled to West Babylon in proximity to the residence of Amber Costello. Subsequently, Amber Costello left her own cell phone behind, which is absolutely crazy, walked out the front door of the residence, and was seen alive for the last time. Shortly after Miss Costello left the house, a witness observed a dark-colored truck pass the house, specifically coming from the direction Amber had walked towards. Records established that defendant Heuermann's wife was out of New York for the disappearance of Barthelemy, Waterman, and Costello. Isn't that crazy? So his wife was out of town for all three of those, leaving it possible to bring home the victim to his house. Let's see. Significantly, travel records show that on July 8, 2009, defendant Heuermann's wife departed the United States for Iceland, which should actually be called Greenland, and Greenland should be called Iceland if you just look at it on a world map. On August 18, 2009, defendant Heuermann's wife returned to the United States. Consequently, defendant Heuermann's wife was out of the country during the time of Melissa Barthelemy's disappearance. Based upon cellular telephone billing records on June 4, 2010, the cellular telephone subscribed to by defendant Heuermann's wife traveled from New York to Maryland on June 8, 2010. So here we go. Let's pull this up now. So that's why this was kind of cool. So let's see right here. Based upon cellular telephone billing records on June 4, 2010, Heuermann's wife traveled from New York to Maryland on June 8th, 2010. So there's this one. Yeah, that's right. That's right. So there's June. That's why. So there's Waterman, and so Barnes is the one that's harder because it's not the same. But also this one's 2009. Melissa Barthelemy. Let's just see how they get this. On June 8, 2010, the cellular telephone described by the defendant Heuermann's wife returned to New York from Maryland. Consequently, based upon cellular telephone records, the cellular telephone subscribed to by defendant Heuermann's wife was out of New York State during the time of Megan Waterman's disappearance. Right. June 4th. And then it came back on the 8th, and she was killed on the 6th. I mean, literally, like, right in the middle. Absolutely crazy. Based upon cellular telephone billing records on August 28th, 2010, the cellular telephone described by Heuermann's wife traveled from New York to New Jersey. On September 5th, 2010, the cellular telephone described to by his wife returned to New York. So that means this is going to be Amber Costello here, right? On September 5th, 2010, the described by his wife returned to New York from New Jersey. Consequently, the cellular telephone described by the defendant Heuermann's wife was out of town during the time Amber Costello's disappearance. During the time of the cellular billing records of the cell phone Rex A. Heuermann. During the times of the disappearance and murders of the victims, defendant Heuermann owned an architectural business located in Midtown Manhattan, and this business was the named subscriber of Heuermann's cell phone. Hey, can you guys hit the freaking like button, for God's sakes? I mean, you show up here, there's 900 people watching and 200 likes. When you go to a YouTube channel, if you're not going to support them in some way, at least hit the like button. It's really easy. So here we go. Hit that like button, 10, 20, 25, 30, hit that like button. It's one of the easiest things in the damn world. If your thumbs don't work, hit it with your nose. Hit it with your face, do whatever it takes. Hit it with your nose, with your face, do whatever it takes to hit the like button. It's got to be one of the most easiest things in the world. I like that. If it doesn't work, hit it with your nose. Oh, man, I don't even remember what I said. It was like a rhyme. It was good. It was a good one. Yeah. Like, use your elbow. Do something. It's just, listen, if you don't have a tongue, you don't have a thumb, just hit it with your forehead. Do something, for God's sakes. All right. During the time of the disappearance and murders, the victim defendant Heuermann owned an architectural business located in Midtown Manhattan, and this business was named subscriber of Heuermann's cell phone, which was active during the times of the victim's disappearance and subscribed to Heuermann's home address in Massapequa Park. Although cell site records from that time period no longer exist, investigators obtained cellular billing records which showed general location information, like, hey, called from, like a borough somewhere. You know how that works. Although cell site records from that time, so then it said, a review of these records, as well as Heuermann's American Express records, showed numerous instances where Heuermann was located in the same general location as the burner cell phones used to contact victim Barthelemy. Let's see, neither cellular telephone billing records nor travel financial records could be obtained for defendant Heuermann's wife for 2007, as such records were no longer available due to retention policies. Therefore, it is undetermined at this time. Defendant Heuermann's wife was traveling out of state during the time of Bernard Barnes. So in 2007, they just don't have, the records weren't stored back there. So Barnes is the one that, they don't have the same caliber of information. Waterman and Costello, as well as the use of Bernard Barnes and Barthelemy's cell phones when they were used to check voicemail. So he used Barnes' cell phone now. I mean, isn't that enough to sort of put him on the list here? Significantly, investigators could find no instance where Heuermann was in a separate location from those other cell phones when such communication events occurred. For example, on July 10, 2009, the last day Melissa Barthelemy was seen alive, both the burner and defendant Heuermann's phone were in the area of Massapequa and traveled together towards New York City. Therefore, both Miss Barthelemy's phone and Heuermann's phone traveled eastbound toward Massapequa. See, now you got the two phones put together. On July 14, 2009, see, I wouldn't be surprised if in the Brian Koberger case, they have something similar now after getting all the subpoena power from the grand jury. On July 14, 2009, at approximately 7:15 p.m., cell site records indicate the burner phone used to contact Miss Barthelemy prior to her disappearance had activity in Manhattan. On the same date, between approximately 6:58 and 7:22 p.m., billing records from Heuermann's cell phone also showed call locations in New York City. Where's my... There it is. All right. Following Mrs. Barthelемy's disappearance on July 17, 2009, at approximately 12:40 p.m., a male caller used the Barthelemy phone to contact Miss Barthelemy's family. The Barthelemy phone was located in New York City, at this time specifically attached to a cellular tower located at 4 Penn Plaza, which is approximately 2,372 feet, or 0.45 miles from Heuermann's then office space, which at that time was located at 19 West. Let me put that in there. So this is in, what year is this? That's 2009. I already had that in there. That's so crazy. I already had that in there because that's what it says on Ben Verified. So that's where he, okay, got that one. And don't forget, everybody, if you'd like to help support the channel, we got 900 and something people in here. It'd be absolutely awesome if you could support the channel to allow me to keep doing what I'm doing. And at the end of the month, if you show up, you'll see exactly some of the amazing stuff that we do. All right. Unfortunately, cell site records for the burner cell phone used to contact Miss Bernard Barnes were not obtained at the time of her disappearance and no longer exist. At the time was located, so his office was located just where I showed you. On this same date at approximately 1:45, so midday, billing records from Heuermann's phone also show a call location in New York City. So here it says victim phone, and then outgoing call to duration was 1.1 minutes, or 1 minute 6 seconds. So victim's phone was right here. Oh yeah, wow, that's weird. So he works right here, but he made a phone call using Barthelemy's phone right there. Remember how he used these people's phones? On July 22nd, 2009, at 6:51 p.m., cell site records indicate the burner cell phone had activity in New York City, specifically attached to a cellular tower located at 19 West 34th Street. Let's see where that is. Wow, the other one was 19 West 36th Street. So that's right near where his office is. So apparently there's a cell tower. Ooh. Oh, is that, what is that? I was going to say, is that the Empire State Building? Oh, apparently that's a cell tower there. That's where he made a phone call. Well, that's where it pinged off of a tower there. So it's 870 feet or 0.16 miles from Heuermann's then office space. On the same date at 5:12, billing records from Heuermann's cell phone listed a call located in New York City. Hey, thanks, Robin. All right, it says at 6:51, outgoing call. Yeah, right down in this area. So he's not in his office doing this. He's standing among people, and therefore it's really probably difficult to pinpoint. On July 20th, but it's weird how he's so obsessed that he's willing to risk something like that. On July 23rd, 2009, these are those different phone calls, remember, that he made. So what page are we on? 13? Let me go back up to... So it's 07/22/2009. July 7. I think it might be, is it right here? Is this the one? Yeah, Barthelemy. It's right in here. On July 11, 2009, Miss Barthelemy was used to make an outbound call, checking her voicemail. I'm going to put this below her on this Barthelemy, and then we'll do like calls 1 on July 11th, on July 11th and July 12th, Barthelemy made 2 more outgoing calls, checking her voicemail. Okay. Alright. The Barthelemy phone made 2 more outgoing calls, checking her voicemail from cell site locations in Babylon on July 17th, 23rd. So there we go. July 17th. All of these were more phone calls. Man, that's crazy. Looney Tunes stuff here. Alright. Wow, that's a lot. So July 11th, 12th, 23rd, August 5th, 19, 26. Okay. Okay, that says on August 5th, 2009. Yep, this is the one. Between approximately 6:50 and 7:11 p.m., a male caller used Barthelemy's phone to contact Mrs. Barthelemy's family. During said time period, the Barthelemy phone utilized the following cellular towers in New York City, which are 2230 to 3,280 feet from Heuermann's then office space. On the same date, during a similar time frame between approximately 6:46 and 7:05, Heuermann's cell phone listed billing locations in New York City. So here's more phone calls that he made. Now, August 5th here. On August 10, 2009, based upon subpoenaed travel documents, Heuermann departed for Iceland, and all phone activity from Barthelemy's phone stopped. So he actually went to Iceland. On August 18, 2009, Heuermann returned from Iceland. Wow, and then the very next day, he starts using her phone again. So he goes over to Iceland on the 10th, and then he gets back on the 18th, and then the very next day on the 19th, right here it says, Barthelemy's phone resumed the next day. On August 19, 2009, at approximately 7:23 p.m., a male caller used their Barthelemy phone to contact Miss Barthelemy's family. Cell site records indicate that Barthelemy's phone was located in New York City at this time, specifically attached to a cellular tower located at 249 West 36th Street, which is 2,831 feet or 0.53 miles from Heuermann's then office space. On the same date before and after the call, Barthelemy's family, approximately at 716 and 728 billing records from Heuermann's cell phone list calls located in New York City. Hold on. All right. On August 26, 2009, between 11:29 and 11:34 a.m., a male caller used... Yeah, this is 26. This is the last date on calls made by her phone. Between approximately 11:29 a.m. and 11:34 a.m., a male caller used the Barthelemy phone to contact Miss Barthelemy's family. Thanks, Emily Flotilla. According to cell site records, the Barthelemy phone was located in New York City at this time, specifically attached to the cellular tower located at 4 Penn Plaza, which is approximately 2,230 feet or 0.42 miles from Heuermann's then office. On this same date, at approximately 11:38, so it's just so damning. It shows that he was using her phone, and it was always within like a half mile or less of his office space, and it was being regularly used except when he went to Iceland, and then it started up again right after he got back. So he used it on, I think it was August 5th, and then he takes off on the 10th, and then he uses it again on the 19th, and then 1 week later on the 26th. This time specifically attached to the cellular tower located at 4 Penn Plaza, which is approximately 2,230 feet, or 0.42 miles from Heuermann's then office. On the same date at approximately 11:38 a.m., billing records for Heuermann's cell phone list a cell location in New York City. So his cell phone is in the same spot where the burner phone is being used. See? So there's this burner phone being used, and his cell phone's in the exact same locations every time the burner phones are being used. Additionally, burner phones and online account activity linked to defendant Heuermann, as described herein, over the course of the comprehensive investigation of defendant Heuermann, investigators located a number of online accounts and burner cell phones linked to defendant Heuermann, but which were held by him in fictitious names and used for illicit activities. American Express records obtained via subpoena revealed recurring Google Pay payments made by defendant Heuermann to Tinder, an online dating and geosocial networking application used to find dates or hookups within a user's immediate vicinity. I think what it is Tinder's probably, if for the good-looking people, it's just a hookup spot. But if you're not and you look like Heuermann, it's a place to find sex workers. Does that make sense? I think that's exactly how that shit works. Hey, you want to go on a date? Tell you what though, if you can give me some money up front, for a cab ride or something. Yeah, the cab ride will be $500. Thank you. Yeah. Right, or you have lizard eyes, yeah. I bet they tie him to at least a few... Yeah, well, I think you did the other 3 that are right there. And I don't know, it just seems really obvious. Records were then obtained from Tinder, which revealed that the Tinder profile was set up in the name Andy. Heuermann's middle name is Andrew, with links to a burner cell phone, 347-885... Oh, so he put his burner cell phone... Oh, man, this is crazy. So he put his burner cell phone number on Tinder so somebody could call him back. Subscribed in a fictitious name of Andrew Roberts, using an email account springfieldman9 AOL.com. The springfieldman9 at AOL.com account was established with AOL on January 15, 2011, in the fictitious name John Springfield. with an Astoria, Queens, New York zip code using another burner cell phone of 347-304-2671, which records show has no named subscriber. Records obtained from Verizon show that defendant Heuermann's cell phone was used on December 11th, 2022, for a period of over 3 hours to access the fictitious Springfield Man 9 AOL account. So this is like 7 months ago. Similarly, records obtained from T-Mobile show that burner cell phone 347-304-2671 was used on multiple dates, including November 8th, 2022, to access this account. A review of call records. It would be amazing if they could get one of these burner phones that he used back then and sync it up to ones that he's... Oh, excuse me. Earlier when I was saying he was using a burner phone, he was using Barthelemy's phone downtown, but his phone matched where hers was all the time. A review of call records for these two additional burner cell phones revealed that both cell phones were used extensively between 2021 and 2023 for prostitution-related contacts, either with sex workers or massage parlors. In addition, cell site warrants for these burner cell phones revealed that just like the burner cell phones defendant Heuermann used to contact the victims prior to their disappearance, these additional burner cell phones had frequent cell site activity in Midtown Manhattan. So he would use these burner phones in downtown to call these different, Tinder sex workers. Specifically, the records revealed that both these burner cell phones consistently and activity on the cellular towers that provided coverage to defendant Heuermann's residence in Massapequa Park and his business in New York City. Legal process served on Google seeking records or accounts associated with the device identifiers of these additional burner cell phones revealed a connection to yet another burner or junk email account named thock080672@gmail.com. Hereafter, thock email. That sounds like a swear word. Oh, thock you. T-H-A-W-K. We gotta have a mug. Thock you. I said thock, everybody. I know it sounds similar. Yeah. Oh, what? Yeah, right. What the thock? Yeah. Shit. That's crazy. You almost can't say that where it sounds exactly the same, right? Google records further indicated that Thock email account was subscribed in fictitious name Thomas Thock. A search warrant revealed that Thock email account associated with the burner cell phone 347-304-2671. Thanks, American lady. It's exactly. Every time I read, it gets exactly the same way. And everyone's so excited to go over the probable cause, but I'm more excited to do it on my own. Because when I do it in here, it's just... Yeah. Was used to conduct thousands of searches related to sex workers, sadistic torture, related pornography, and child pornography. So right here it says, a search warrant revealed that the Thock email account associated with burner cell phone 347-304-2671 was used, and that phone was connected to him on Tinder. Thousands of searches related to sex workers, sadistic torture, related pornography, and child pornography, including... So these are the things he looked up. I'm going to let you guys just read them. I mean, I can read some of them, but some of them I just... Hey, thanks, Robin and Just Junie. Which is juniper, right? What happened? What happened to the... I don't even know what she said. What did it say? What did Just Junie say? I never got to read it. It got deleted. I mean, her super chat's there, but the comment got deleted. What happened? Was that an accident, or... What did I didn't see what Just Junie said. Wanted to read it. What did it say? Oh, fuck. I said fuck. I wonder if the what do you call it? The closed caption will be able to distinguish. Well, I heard it say THAWK. So nobody knows what she wrote? Oh, just send a sticker. Okay. Anyways, it says Mistress Long Island. Mature escorts Manhattan. I won't read the next one. I won't read the next one. I won't read the next one. This one says tortured redhead. Then talking about little kids in this one. I mean, this is crazy. These are just read. You can read for yourself. Let me clear this off the screen. You can read for yourself what it actually says. This is the one that when we did the previous show, I guess this means like a gay Asian male, young Asian male, right? Well, when you go back out to the location here, everybody, I mean, it can't be a coincidence. Just can't be. Right here, there's an Asian male, and he was wearing female clothing. Do you think that's a coincidence? I mean, these are just all disgusting. Old janitor? Jesus. Who types these things? Just think of that, a mind of somebody typing this stuff in. I mean, 95% of this stuff is just, like, sick as hell, you know. The Thok email account was also used to conduct in excess of 200 searches between March 2022 and June 2023. Related to active and known serial killers. The specific disappearances and murders of Maureen Barnes, Melissa Barthelemy, Megan Waterman, and Amber Costello, and the investigation into their murders. These searches or articles access include, but are not limited to, why could law enforcement not trace the calls? That's such a stupid wording. Is this guy dumb? Or, I mean, like, why could law enforcement not trace the calls made by the Long Island serial killer? You know, there's probably another search that says, why couldn't law enforcement not trace the calls made by myself? I mean, and then there's like a delete. Oh yeah, and then the Long Island serial killer. Why hasn't the Long Island serial killer been caught? Long Island killer. Long Island serial killer phone call. Long Island serial killer update. Long Island serial killer update 2022. FBI active serial killers. Serial killers by state 2023. Oh, thank you again to, I think this is today, right? Thank you to Crystal, a.k.a. Beaver Gaming Sub earlier, then Lillian, and, let's see, what does it say? Okay, then somebody else. They never want their name put out there. All right. Serial killer by state 2023. Map of all known serial killers. Why would you want to know that? Unsolved serial killer cases. America's 5 most notorious old cases. I wonder if he said, yeah, there. This is the one here. You wanted to see if he was up on that list. 11 currently active serial killers. 8 terrifying active serial killers that we can't find. Now here's the John Bitroff one. You know, maybe that person's in the same, you know, was in the similar area. Megan Waterman, Melissa Barthelemy, Maureen Barnes. Redacted names of relative of Melissa and redacted name of relative of Megan Waterman. So he's looking them up. Cops launch Gilgo Beach Homicide Investigation Task Force. Mapping the Long Island murder victims. Inside the Long Island serial killer and Gilgo Beach. The Gilgo Beach Killer. Criminal Minds. In Long Island serial killer investigation, new phone technology may be key to break-in case. The Hawk email account, the Thok, excuse me, email account. What the fuck? Email account was also used. There's no way to say that. Can anybody say that out loud, even out in your own place where you live? Just say it out loud. It doesn't sound anything other than the F word, okay? It's just ridiculous. No, Gray, I say it where it doesn't. I don't know where you grew up, but when I say... Okay, I don't give a shit. All right. Yeah. Remember we had the PAWK, P-A-W-K before? It was like Psycho and Whack Job Killer. Yeah. Sort of similar, right? Pretty weird. This could be the... Wait. Maybe he listened to my show. What year was this? He probably watched my damn show. Hey, look that up somewhere. See if you can find... Look at this. Because it's weird to have PAWK, right? So how about this? The... In his name, right? Like... What the hell is... Let me get this thing. Heuermann. Look at... The Heuermann and Whack Job Killer. So he came up with his own version. Hey, he was watching. Hey, before you think that's funny, we actually did have a killer that was... He commented underneath one of my videos and said, you know, like, if the cops would just do a better job, they could probably solve it. And then he got tried, and then it was a hung jury. Then they tried him again, and he was found guilty. Yeah, so if you go to... what was the name of the case again, you guys? Jesus, my brain on that case never... It's a girl that she was like really young, and she was at a Christmas concert singing in it, and then when she went home, somebody abducted her out of the house. I used to say fudge, now I'll be saying thock. Yeah. Somebody knows. Yeah, Janelle Matthews. So if you go find one of my Janelle Matthews videos, you'll see, I think Pickney is his name, in the comment section himself. So, pretty interesting. You never know who's watching out there. Significantly, defendant Heuermann also searched for and viewed articles concerning the very task force that was investigating him. Yeah, but I mean, I think a lot of us searched for some of that stuff. A search warrant conducted in the fictitious Springfield Man 3 AOL account further revealed selfie photographs that appeared to have been taken by defendant Rex Heuermann of himself. Hey, thanks, Melanie Rintmore from New Zealand. Do you guys say good day, mate, over there? What did you say, Courtney? I can't see. What's John Benet Ramsey have to do with anything? Or Jean Benet Ramsey? He's probably seen it, though. He seemed so obsessed. I have no idea what you're talking about. I mean, let me say something. When I'm doing a show where I'm reading a long probable cause document, does anybody have high expectations that I'm sitting there reading everybody's comments at the same time? I'm just curious. What do you mean Melissa Pesky has nothing to do with this? What are you talking about? That's Panky. Right. I said that. I might have said it differently, but... I mean, it's just pretty crazy. Even on other nights where I'm trying to go through the stories, it's hard to read even 30% of them. Yeah. A search warrant conducted on... But what does John Benet Ramsey have to do with this guy, though? Like, I'm trying to figure out what we're asking here. Anybody know? Okay. A search warrant conducted on the fictitious Springfield 9 AOL account further revealed selfie photographs that appeared to have been taken by defendant Rex Heuermann of himself and sent to other persons to solicit and arrange for sexual activity, further linking Heuermann to fictitious email account that the burner cell phone 347-304-2671 used to establish the account. And thus, when you look at that picture there, you realize why there was a ruse at Costello's house. When they saw him coming through the door, that boyfriend wasn't far behind. But boy, they sure got the money out of it. There, hold on one second. Yeah, it's almost like he's like, this is me at work on the left, and this is when I'm getting really rugged and fun on the right. Actually, see, this one over here is a selfie. That's why it's backwards, right? So, or not a selfie, but he's taking it in a mirror, so he's flipped. This one is, well, who knows? This one could be the normal look, because if you're filming yourself in a mirror, it's correct. This one is the selfie, so his actual part on his head is on, this is the right one, I think. No, it isn't Gray, it's his twin brother. He never killed anybody. You can watch it on the Clown's channel. He'll tell you all about it, everybody. That this guy right here is just the twin brother. See how the belly's sticking out and you can't see his belly sticking out on the one on the left? Well, that's because his belly's below the camera. Yeah, forget that part. Notice how you don't see his... Hey, thanks, Norma Jean Doyle. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You almost want to play, like, porn music when you see this guy, right? Isn't that what the break music almost is? Not really. Yeah. Okay, so he was, so now this is sort of like when Koberger went to Albertsons. Right? Now the burner phone, the account, and his face are all matched up. Although this is for a later, this is like 2021, 2022. Oh, look at that. Oh, man. He's all right, let's get down here. Defendant Rex Heuermann was further linked to the burner cell phone 347-304-2671 because on May 19th, 2023, wow, that's on my mom's birthday this year. That's great. Defendant Heuermann was observed by law enforcement via video and field surveillance, a cell phone store in Midtown Manhattan, and purchased additional minutes which were added to this burner cell phone. He's got the really cool sunglasses on. I'm not even sure what kind of music to play with this. I think the better music would be scary. Let's see, what do we got? I think if we put this one, Aftermath. Here comes Rex Heuermann. He was observed by law enforcement via video and field surveillance at a cell phone store in Midtown Manhattan and purchased additional minutes, which were added to this burner cell phone. See scary images below. Look at him handing cash for more minutes. Very scary. That probably woke you guys up. Analysis of the Springfield Man 9 AOL account also led to the discovery of another email account, hunter1903a3@gmail.com. Here in after the Hunter1903 Google account, used on February 14, 2021, to send an image of a prostitute from upstate New York between two of Herman's secret email accounts. Further investigation revealed that Hunter1903a3 Google account was created on February 14th, Valentine's Day, 2021, using burner cell phone 347-885-1697. That's the other one, as the user's phone number and SMS recovery number, and subscribed in the fictitious name Andy Roberts. The same fake name linked to the target Tinder profile and burner cell phone 347-885-1697. As well as the same alias utilized by defendant Heuermann in communications with numerous potential sex partners responding. So what this is showing is this is the same behavior he was doing back then. But I'm just sort of wondering, has he been doing this for a while, or did he just pick up again? I mean, it could be that he was about to kill again. What's weird is, let's do the math here. I don't know, does it work? I think it kind of does. So some of these are 1997 over here, like different body parts and so forth. So 1997, then 11 years later, it's like 2007, 2009, you know, and then 2010, and then you add 11 years later, and it's 2021, 22, and here he is again. Was he about to pick up again and start murdering more people, or was he still murdering people? That's pretty interesting, though. He might be one of those ones that has those long gaps and then starts it again. Or because why aren't they talking about, like, in 2015 he did this and he did that? That's what it feels like here. As the user's phone number and SMS recovery number, and subscribed in the fictitious name Andy Roberts. The same fake name linked to the target Tinder profile and burner cell phone of 347-885-1697, as well as the same alias utilized. So he might have been setting up the same technique that he did before, and he was just sort of building up the sort of layers of cell phones and burners and so forth, and he was about to start killing again. Defendant Heuermann and communications with numerous potential sex partners responding to his advertisement for sex. And the fictitious birthday of August 6, 1972, which corresponds to the digital ending of the burner account Thoc 080672 Gmail. That's pretty interesting. In addition, Google provided IP addresses, or an IP address information for the user acceptance of the terms of service, which revealed that the terms of service were accepted on February 14, 2021 from IP address 24.184.75.31. Significantly, records were obtained from Altus, doing business as Optimum, which is an internet service provider, indicating that the IP address and defendant Heuermann's home address was also 24.184.75.31. Yeah, well, I saw that he was working from home. Moreover, based upon SCPD, make sure to hit that like button, everybody, and subscribe if you're out there. Moreover, based upon SCPD records for the official website gilgonews.com, a website maintained by SCPD to disperse news pertaining to this investigation, defendant Heuermann's home IP address was used on May 23rd. I knew that that's what they were using that for, too. They were collecting IP addresses that would go to the website. Home IP address was used on May 23rd, 2020 and July 3rd, 2020 to access the official news concerning this investigation. Records obtained from JetBlue also show that the same IP address was also utilized to book flights for defendant Heuermann and his wife in 2018. When analyzing usage of all devices and accounts used by defendant Heuermann, there appears to be clear pattern wherein Heuermann used burner phones and burner junk email address to 1. Contact sex workers and sex partners to conduct extensive searches related to sex and prostitution, violent, sadistic, and child pornography, and 3. Seek online information about the authorities investigating his crimes. These burner telephones and email accounts with fictitious identities were used in an effort to conceal Heuermann's true identity, conceal his criminal activity, unlawfully proposition sex workers, and attempt to monitor the investigation of his crimes. DNA analysis of hairs recovered from examination of the victims' bodies during the course of the investigation. So this is really important here. I was wondering where people were getting. Let's see if we get the answer. During the course of the investigation, each of the 4 victims' bodies were examined by a forensic scientist with the Suffolk County Crime Laboratory. Miss Brene Barnes had been left restrained by 3 leather belts, one of which was utilized to tie Barnes' feet and ankles together. During the examination of the belt, a female human hair was recovered from the buckle of one of the belts by the Suffolk County Crime Lab. On or about December 18th, 2010, the Suffolk County Laboratory, this hair, I think it says something like, took this hair and was able to determine that it corresponded to a Caucasian head hair fragment. Although this hair was not suitable for nuclear DNA profiling at the time, it was subsequently submitted for further DNA analysis. See below. Megan Waterman, by the way, so hair, it's just in the last 2 or 3 years where hair itself, without the root, you can get a DNA sequence out of it. I mean, I don't know if it's like 3 or 4 years now, but that's a huge break, because you could find a hair at a crime scene, from a long time ago, and you could still get the DNA out of it. It's pretty sweet. But yeah, you guys, let's see. Yeah, it's pretty amazing stuff. Yeah. Megan Waterman had been bound by clear or white duct tape. During the course of the examination of Mrs. Waterman's body, 2 female human hairs were recovered, one from outside the head area and the other from the tape of the head area. See, I think that these girls were taken back to Heuermann's house while his wife was out of town. Both hairs were recovered in the vicinity of Miss Waterman's head, here after 2 female hairs on Waterman. Examination by Suffolk County Laboratory indicated that the two female hairs on Waterman's exhibited Caucasian European characteristics, but were unsuitable for further DNA testing at that time. All right, you guys. We're having one of those slow nights in here with over 900 people watching. If you guys could, if you want to help, I mean, that's what we do. So there's people that don't know, on this channel, every single night we raise funds on here to help support the channel. And then at the end of the month, I donate over 50% of the net revenue to charities out there. And we've given $156,700 since January 2020. And yes, my channel makes an income too, but I spend, you know, the first show was 4 hours today. This one is already almost 2 hours, right? You're going to smoke gray area weed? I'm going to put a sign outside my office that's going to say, the gray zone. Even though they're, you know, I try to look at, I don't, you know, the gray zone doesn't exist. I try to look at it like that. Thanks, American Lady and Darrell Greggs. Yeah. The non-gray zone. But then I can't go into it. So I got to find something. Anyways, Megan Waterman had been found by bound by clear or white duct tape, and there was female hairs found. Examination by the Suffolk County Laboratory indicated that the two female hairs on Waterman exhibited Caucasian European characteristics, but were unsuitable for further DNA testing at that time. The two female hairs on Waterman were subsequently submitted for further DNA analysis. See below. Amber Costello. Thanks, Mona L. An examination of the body of Miss Amber Costello revealed that she appeared to have been bound by 3 pieces of clear or white duct tape. So that's similar to the last one. During the course of the examination, so Barnes was before, so he changed it up to duct tape later. Do you like the gray zone? I kind of like that too. Make it like a neon sign out there. Thanks, EMS Coffee Convos. During the course of examination of Miss Costello's body, a female human hair recovered specifically on a piece of tape inside the burlap wrapping in the vicinity of Miss Costello's head again. Hereafter, female hair on Costello. A subsequent examination of the female hair on Costello led to the determination that it had Caucasian European characteristics. However, it was unsuitable for further DNA testing at the time. So they keep saying at the time. Because back then, you know, there just isn't anything. 2010, 11. By the Suffolk County Crime Laboratory. I would say right now, DNA since 2010 to right now has evolved as much as horse and buggy to where we are now with vehicles. I mean, it is like just leaps and bounds higher. Just the technology that they have to get different, samples. It's very sensitive now, and in another 10 years from now, it's going to be like you can get DNA out of the air. You put the, wherever the dog, the dog scents somebody. It's going to be like something like that. I mean, who knows, but yeah. So when somebody types something like that in, just go ahead and delete them. See, that person isn't like, they just had a different opinion. They're here for it to be a troll, okay? It's really obvious. So, yeah, remove them. I'm going to, where is it? Can I do it? Shit, you guys are too fast. My God, slow down. Yeah, there you go. Great, it's just a different opinion. I think he's innocent. Well, you're a moron, and go do something else. Thank you very much. Yeah, we try to have people over here with brains that actually work. I know that's weird on YouTube. People are begging for anybody. I really don't care. Like if you're somebody that likes wild speculation and stuff like that, go watch them. I'm not doing it. That's why the prosecutor felt safe to say this stuff. There's no out for this guy. I wouldn't bet money, but I would say there's greater than 50% chance that he's going to plead guilty because he doesn't want to have the shame and embarrassment of going over each of these cases out loud with that kind of damning evidence. He is screwed, okay? Because then they're going to put out all those little communications with sex work. I mean, he doesn't want to do that. He's going to try to, unless he wants to. See, a lot of these serial killers, once they're caught, they just can't wait to tell their story. They've wanted to for so long. They want people to know all the great lengths they went through and just how amazing they were as a serial killer. Thanks, Catherine Andrews. K-me. Appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Very kind. I love that they are catching these psychopaths. Well, one of the great things about forensic genetic genealogy is that all these people out there that have committed rapes and murders over the years are all shitting their pants, especially ones that were pre-DNA, where it was used so frequently. Forensic well, it's also, I would say, after 2018, because if you were careful prior to 2018, even if your DNA was somewhere and you weren't in the system, you're safe. They could have your DNA, but you're safe because you're not in CODIS. But not anymore, everybody. 2018 with the Golden State Killer. It was before that, though, is when it started. But that case made it known. Everybody knew at that point. As soon as the Golden State Killer case was solved, these clowns, these psychopaths were sitting around. They sit around every day wondering when the next knock on the door will be. That's going to be handcuffs on them. Right? Before that, the ones that weren't in CODIS were feeling pretty good. But man, every one of them right now are just sitting around just going, holy shit, they got me. Oh man, oh God, oh God. So now we're on Amber Costello. So let's see. Yeah, so the first one was Barnes. Did you notice? I bet you, without reading yet, I'm going to say Costello had the white tape. Barnes doesn't, because see, that was earlier. It was sort of different. Okay, I'm leaving something at the crime scene that, So I'm just guessing. It might not be, though. An examination of the body of Miss Amber Costello revealed that she appeared to have been bound by 3 pieces of clear white duct tape. There you go. Okay, there you go. Hadn't seen it. During the course of examination of Miss Costello's body, and Barnes is sort of the odd person out in this, because there's not the white clear duct tape. She's got belts. Also, her, what was the other thing about the, what was it? What was the other piece of information that was a little different? It was similar, but then they didn't have the answer. It was very similar, though. Anyways, Costello's head. There was a piece of hair that was found in the wrapping in the vicinity of Miss Costello's head. A subsequent examination of the female hairs on Costello's led to the determination that it had Caucasian European characteristics. However, it was unsuitable for further DNA testing, again at the time, by Suffolk County Crime Laboratory. The female hair on Costello was subsequently submitted for further DNA analysis, see below. Now here's the laboratory. As noted above, the female hair on Barnes, 2 female hairs on Waterman, and female hair on Costello, collectively the female hairs recovered on the 3 victims were all sent to an outside forensic laboratory, herein after Forensic Laboratory Number 1. Forensic Laboratory Number 1 applies DNA techniques and direct genome sequencing in difficult to solve forensic cases and the identification of human remains. In or about July 2022, Forensic Laboratory Number 1 was able to determine that each of the aforementioned female hairs recovered on the 3 victims each belonged to a female individual in mitochondrial haplogroup K1C2 and that this female was not any of the victims. So that hair was from the same person. So Barnes is in that group. On or about July 21st, 2022, I think what you can do in Barnes' case is, I don't know how you do it. You got to lump her in somehow, because if there's any similarities, the tape, that wasn't though, that was belts. But you've got the same hair sample there, really? On or about July 21st, 2022, an undercover SCPD detective recovered 11 bottles from a trash receptacle. So this is the surreptitiously collecting DNA samples for comparison that had been left out for collection in front of the residence of defendant Rex A. Heuermann. The Suffolk County Crime Laboratory took swabs of said bottles, which were subsequently sent to Forensic Laboratory Number 1 for DNA profiling. Based on these new submissions, on or about February 24th, 2023, just 5 months ago, Forensic Laboratory Number 1 was able to conclude that one of the DNA profiles generated from the aforementioned bottles taken from defendant Heuermann's residence indicated a female individual belonging to mitochondrial haplogroup K1C2, which is the same mitochondrial haplogroup as the female hairs recovered from the 3 victims. So now Barnes has Heuermann's wife's hair there, although I don't know what the statistical, K1C2 haplogroup, how many people have that. This profile was then compared against the previously tested female hair sample recovered on the remains of Miss Megan Waterman, which indicated that the two belong to the same individual or someone closely related. Based upon the investigation and evidence recovered to date, that female is believed to be the wife of defendant Heuermann. On or about March 23rd, 2023, this is another laboratory here, the Suffolk County Crime Laboratory requested Forensic Laboratory Number 2, a lab specializing in forensic mitochondrial analysis, to conduct additional independent analysis. On or about June 12, 2023, Forensic Laboratory Number 2 issued a report concluding that the DNA sample from the female recovered from the bottles outside the residence of defendant Heuermann, example, i.e. Heuermann's wife, and the female hair on Costello indicated that the mitochondrial DNA profiles are the same at all compared positions common to and between samples, specifically at a rate that would, as per the EMPOP database, exclude 99.98% of the North American population from the female hair on Costello. So that's not in the 8 octillion range, but it's still like, whoa, that's pretty low odds that it's somebody else. EMPOP is shortened for European. Okay, let me just go down here. Forensic Laboratory Number 2 then compared the profile associated with the DNA sample from Heuermann's wife to one of 2 aforementioned female hairs recovered on the remains of Miss Waterman, which also resulted in the conclusion that the mitochondrial DNA profiles are the same at all compared positions common to and between samples, specifically at a rate that would, as per EMPOP database, exclude 99.69% of North American population from the hair recovered on Miss Waterman. Based on the foregoing, while 99.98% of the North American population can be excluded from the female hair on Costello, and 99.69% of the North American population can be excluded from the female hair on Waterman, it is significant that R.H.'s wife, Rex Heuermann's wife, cannot be excluded from either the female hairs recovered on the remains of Megan Waterman and Amber Costello. As previously noted, defendant Heuermann's wife was out of state at the time of Miss Waterman and Miss Costello's disappearance and murders. As such, it is likely that the burlap tape vehicle, the burlap tape vehicles or other instrumentalities utilized in furtherance of these murders came from defendant Heuermann's residence, where his wife also resides. I wouldn't put it past that he took her home. You know? Or was transferred from his clothing. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely possible too, that, you know, like, if she was sitting in his car, for example, his wife probably sits in the passenger seat at times and has her head against the headrest, and maybe her head hit the head, you know. So it could be something like that. During the initial examination of Miss Waterman's skeletal remains and the burlap materials, the Suffolk County Crime Laboratory was also able to recover a male hair from the bottom of the burlap used to wrap Miss Waterman by her killer. Hereinafter, male hair on Waterman. So we actually, just recently, the Alatoona County Doe, which we were able to fund because of your guys' generosity, we did a hair on that one. So we first tried the normal way, but the DNA was so degraded. They actually had a hair sample, and then we had to, I think we spent like, I don't know, $10,000 on that case or something. And we got a DNA sequence out of a hair, and then that was uploaded to GEDmatch, and he was identified. So that's over here. See right here, the Freak Funded Solved. Jeffrey Peterson was the Sky Shoots one. That was through the DNA Doe Project. Then Daniel Armentrout was through Identifinders International with Dr. Colleen Fitzpatrick. George F. Madden is Lake Altoona John Doe. We also, that's also through Identifinders International. And then we also have another one that was a serial killer victim, a black woman who was a serial killer victim found in a hotel. The serial killer was convicted of her murder and 10 or 11 other people. And she was identified, but we weren't able to put her name out there because the family didn't want to. But we got her name back anyways. She was unidentified for a long time. And see, that only happens through the generosity of you guys. All right? So where are we at here? Male hair linked to defendant Heuermann. Okay. So we're right here. During the initial examination of Miss Waterman's skeletal remains and the burlap materials, the Suffolk County Crime Laboratory was also able to recover a male hair from the bottom of the burlap used to wrap Miss Waterman by her killer. Hereafter, male hair on Waterman. An initial examination of said hair revealed Caucasian European characteristics. However, the hair was unsuitable for further DNA analysis at the time by Suffolk County Crime Laboratory. This hair was subsequently submitted for further DNA analysis, and on or about July 31st, 2020, Forensic Laboratory Number 1 was able to generate a DNA profile for the hair recovered on the bottom of Waterman's burlap. Specifically, Forensic Laboratory Number 1 determined that this hair belonged to a male in mitochondrial haplogroup V7A. Following the discovery of the Chevrolet Avalanche, which was registered to defendant Heuermann, and the investigation of cellular billing records and other items on or about January 26, 2023, a surveillance team observed and recovered a pizza box thrown by defendant Rex A. Heuermann into a garbage can located in front of 385 Fifth Avenue, Manhattan. Yeah, hold on. Let's see how close it is to his office. Yeah, it's right there. Thank you, Cynthia Breyer. Let's see, Heuermann into a garbage can located in front there. All right, and there's the pizza. I actually had an article with the same pictures in it, but there you go. Man, he ate that whole damn thing, didn't he? Wow. Probably just on his walk back. This pizza box, that means they were surveilling and watching. This pizza box was sent to the Suffolk County Crime Laboratory for analysis, where a swab was taken from the leftover pizza crust. On or about March 23rd, 2023. Well, how do you know it's his? You know what I mean? I mean, maybe he ate a... Yeah. See, people look at something like this and they try to figure out what's an excuse that his DNA would be on a piece of pizza inside there. Right? Well, let's go with the homing pigeon again. The homing pigeon landed on Heuermann's head. Pecked at it for a while, got a little bit of DNA on it, and then it flew through a building and it spit it out because, oh my God, it was gross to the homing pigeon. And it flew and landed right on the edge of a piece of pizza. And how unlucky was it for him when they swabbed the pizza that little piece that fell out of the sky landed on the part where he swabbed. Oh, bad luck. But man, it happens all the damn time. Right, Basby?
It's the house. Huh? It's the house.
Let's see. On or about March 23rd, 2023, the Suffolk County Crime Laboratory sent the swab from the pizza crust abandoned by defendant Heuermann to Forensic Laboratory Number 2. On or about April 28, 2023, a detective hand-delivered from Forensic Laboratory Number 1 a portion of male hair on Waterman to Forensic Laboratory Number 2 for testing. On or about June 12, 2023, Forensic Laboratory Number 2 was able to determine as to the male hair on Waterman and the swab from the pizza crust that the mitochondrial DNA profile are the same, specifically at a rate that would, as per the EMPOP database, exclude 99.96% of the North American population from the male hair. But see, all you have to do mathematically is say, so I think that is 1 in 10,000, or 4 in 10,000. Well, now you could actually do the math and say how many 10,000s are in 300 million and multiply that by 4, and you have like, wow, so there really could be 3,200 people with the same, and then that makes the jury go, ooh. When you start doing in the billions and octillions and trillions, yeah, then the person's in way more trouble at that point. North American population from the male hair. Based on the foregoing, while 99.96% of the North American population can be excluded from the male hair on, well, let's just do it. Calculator. 300 million divided by 10,000 equals, and then so it's 30,000. Okay, then you have to multiply that times 4. So that means there could be 120,000 people in the United States that have that. So that's not really like incredible. Oh my God, there's no chance. You'd have to have 60,000 billion planet Earths to have one chance. This is, you do the math like that in front of a jury, they go, oh, well, but all the other stuff combined, it's just, you start piling on circumstantial evidence upon circumstantial evidence, and it gets to a point where this guy has no shot. He's toast, all right? Arrest and search of Heuermann's residence. So let's see what this says. On or about the evening of July 13, 2023, defendant Rex A. Heuermann was arrested by Suffolk County police officers. Searches of his residence, as well as other locations, are currently ongoing. At the time of his arrest, defendant Heuermann had on his person the burner cell phone 347-304-2671, which was linked to the Thock email account used to conduct the online search described above. If convicted on the current charges, defendant Rex A. Heuermann faces multiple sentences of life without parole. Based on the serious, heinous nature of these offenses, the strength of the people's case, the life incarceration, and defendant faces upon conviction the extreme measures this defendant took to attempt to avoid apprehension for an extended period of time, the recent sadistic and child pornography searches, use of fictitious names, email, cell phone, burner accounts, online counter surveillance, and his access to and history of possessing firearms, the people believe that the only means to ensure the defendant return to court is to remand the defendant without bail. They probably thought he might have, killed himself, committed suicide, or as some of the weaker, people in society would say, unalived himself. Let's see. Yeah. All right, make sure to hit that like button, you guys. Maybe we can get that up to 1,000. You never know. So that's it. We went through the whole damn thing. 32 pages. Absolutely damning stuff. Where he's using the victim's phone downtown and his cell phone is, and he's taunting people or checking voicemails. And it's right near his phone at all times. There's never a time where his phone goes somewhere and the victim's phone isn't near him. All kinds of stuff. We went over it all. Does anybody think, I don't know, man. Is there anybody out there that really thinks like, this is even stronger than, obviously, because there's so much more detail, than Kohberger. But I think Kohberger's case is similar to this if the grand jury's information was allowed to be put somewhere. I do. I think that they have absolute... We're just seeing what was on the original probable cause. This thing here is the arrest warrant and much more, Mm-hmm. They said it at the beginning. What was the reason? Was some sort of a... What the hell was that? I don't remember what it was now. Anybody remember the reasoning there? Let's see. It's an investigation. Partners from Suffolk office and Federal Bureau. You have every item. Hey, thank you so much. Bama forever. We had another forever in here. Did you see that earlier? You had me at burner phone. No, I think it's right here or something. A comprehensive review of every item of evidence and information in this investigation was undertaken by the team. On March 14, 2022, approximately 2 months into the renewed joint investigation, this comprehensive review led to the discovery. It almost sounds like Richard Allen all over again, right? Like, oh, we looked at it again and look what we found. It led to the discovery of a first-generation Chevrolet Avalanche that was registered to defendant Rex A. Heuermann at the time of these murders, as described below. So what happened here was they went back and reviewed, which this shows you how lame it was originally. I guarantee you this is how it worked, you guys. The Costello case is what solved this case, where they had a report of this avalanche, and it was an old generation one, and it was parked outside when they did the ruse on him. He was 6'4" and so forth. Then they went back and reviewed that, and they said, let's do a search in that area. What is it? I forgot the name of that area that he lives in. It's kind of hard to remember. It's sort of a random... Let's see. No, that's not it. God, where the hell is it? Oh, it's right here. right? Heuermann. These are all the different places he lived. This is the one right here, though. What's the name of that town? It's just... Hold on. Yeah, Massapequa. So what they probably did was a search in Massapequa to see if there's any Chevrolet Avalanches, which really aren't that common, and an old style. And they came across the one owned by Rex A. Heuermann in that area. I'll bet you anything that's how they did this. Because look how they describe it here. It almost sounds like that. A comprehensive review of every item of evidence and information. So they went back through, found the Costello report, then did a search for Chevrolet Avalanches of that old, the first generation. They know the years of it in the area of Wapika, and boom, there it is. Doesn't that make sense, everybody? Or Massapequa? Why do I keep saying? I don't even know how to say it. It's just, yeah, That's how I said it originally. Massapequa. That's how I said it earlier. Oh, Pequot. Okay. Massapequa. Okay. I think I said it on the earlier show. I said Massapequa. Something like that. Hell, I don't remember. Who cares? Anyways, doesn't that sound... I think it's Costello. I might say Castillo. Hold on. I'm just kind of... When I get... It's Costello, not Castillo. Yeah, so at the Costello event where she had a John come over to the house, actually, and then it was a ruse to pretend that the boyfriend showed up, and then he left even after paying the money. But the witnesses outside said this is what the car was. They knew it was the Chevrolet Avalanche, and he was 6'4". And I bet you as soon as they found the Avalanche, and this guy was a huge person at 6'4", and it was in, now I gotta say it right, Massapequa, that they just were like, boom, we're onto something. And then they started researching, and everywhere they looked, it just got worse and worse for this guy. Don't you think? Does anybody think it's something else? I mean, just look at how this says right here. A comprehensive review, this is exactly what the Delphi case said, of every item of evidence and information, although I think Delphi is a little different. I think they're making an excuse in that one. And information in this investigation was undertaken by the team. So they looked at everything again. Then on March 14th, 2022, approximately 2 months into the renewed joint investigation, this task force review led to the discovery of a first-generation Chevrolet. They see it in this report. Oh, wow. And the reason they discovered it was because in that report with Costello, it made them search for one in the area, and it led to that vehicle is probably the only one in that town. How much you want to bet it was the only one in that town? And it's even sitting there on Street View. As described below, that this was significant because a witness to the disappearance, there it is, of Amber Costello. That's how they got it, though. So it's sort of like one led to the other. Unless there's a whole other reason that they found it. I don't know how you would just randomly stumble upon a Chevrolet Avalanche other than that somebody had told you. I think they got it from this witness and found it in the town there, and that's how they located him. But maybe there's some other reason, which is consistent with the... Okay, anyways. I think that's going to do it, you guys. I don't really have much more to do. What do you guys want to... Do you have anything to talk about? Or this has been a long day. I did 4 hours earlier, 2:30, 6 hours, 6.5 hours. No, I didn't say Tahoe. I said Avalanche. Hey, thanks, American Lady. Yeah, I don't have any more to say, Benny. Especially not with you around. As soon as you leave, though, we'll have all kinds of things to say. Gray, I honestly don't think this is... Okay, well, you can honestly think whatever you want, Jim. We don't know what it is. I think it's most likely just him by himself. If there's other people, then sure, it's definitely a possibility. Can't say it's not, but to say, I just think that there's no evidence pointing to another person. So what's better to say is, Gray, I think it's possible there's another person here. There's nothing pointing to it, but it just feels like there's a chance. That's how things should be worded. It's almost like people throw stuff out so later on, if it becomes true, they can go, see, look at what I said, because there's nothing to lose. But if you want to do it accurately, you can say, yeah, I think there's a chance that somebody else did it, some of the other victims out there, and they probably know each other. Definitely a possibility. I mean, people are throwing a name around out there because somebody's kid might have known somebody, and, it's just... I just don't think he would have stopped. Yeah, maybe not. I feel so honored and famous right now. This stream is great. Why do you feel honored and famous? Right, but it doesn't matter that you watched it for 10 years because everything that just came out is not related to the stuff that you were thinking before. Yeah. Here's what I think. I think that Costello, Barthelemy, Barnes, Waterman, the Asian male, and Valerie Mack, and I think that was it. There's another name over here. Yeah, Jessica Taylor, perhaps, are all related. I mean, they're all right on the same side of the road. So when I say related, it's most likely just him, or there could be somebody else that they've been connected with before, and he knows the person, and there's another individual. That's it. But there's no chance in hell. I mean, that I'd say it's 1 in 5 billion that Heuermann, if he didn't kill these other people, doesn't know exactly who killed them. There's no chance. I mean, how is this happening? This wasn't in the paper yet, right? So in 1997, I guess, that's when, I don't know if it was Jessica Taylor or Valerie, I don't know what time frame, I have to look those up, but I think Jessica Taylor was a long time ago. That wasn't really in the news because they weren't found until... Why are you putting me in jail? What'd I do? What'd I do, Emily? Oh, well, there you go. Emily threw me in prison. Apparently I did something bad again. Man, I'm always doing something bad. Gotta drink a lot while you're in prison, dude. I wonder if he's responsible for a toddler who was found there. Well, the toddler one is weird, but I think they're all connected. Every bit of it. I'm not sure why anybody wants to bail me out of prison when the show's not lasting too much longer. Don't drink the toilet wine. Yeah, probably not. Thanks, American Lady, for the piece of pizza. And thanks, Kathy T up there, and American Lady. Play-Doh for a cup of toilet wine. Oh boy. How's that made? And there's Just Junie, whose real name is Juniper. And Eugenie, Snickers bar. But if Mag was here, I would have got a Reese's peanut butter cup. I like those too. Yeah, I think here's what's interesting about it. They've arrested Heuermann. If he's not the killer of the other victims there, I bet I would say he certainly knows who the killer is of the others, and that might be something you negotiate with him. He won't get less time. He'll get accommodations or some place to be. Because you need to get answers. You got to make a deal to get the answers. If you don't get the answers, those other two ones are so old. I remember Jessica Taylor. Wasn't... the hell was that? There was like another piece of... Well, there's Mag. She got me an entire box of Reese's peanut butter cups out of the shelf at 7-Eleven, because now there's enough to get into a cab, get a hotel room, and everything. Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate it. Did say killers. Yeah, right. They said killers because they haven't linked the other 4 yet. I mean, how can you deny? I mean, seriously, you guys. Just look at it again with your own brain. And what was interesting earlier is the distance between the Asian male and Waterman and Costello and Waterman is exactly the same. So this Asian male that was dressed up as a female, likely as a sex worker as well, are we going to say that he's not connected somehow to this? Really? That's insane. He's right there, same side of the road. This whole distance from Costello here to the Asian male is... God, look at this, you guys. is a half mile. There's 5 bodies in a half mile, and you're going to say one of them's not connected? Now, give me a break. Oh, shoot. Oh, god darn it. I just realized it's not going to keep playing when I switched it over. Oh, well. Sorry about that. Hey, we got most of it anyways. Super Freak, and where's the... There it is. I got bailed out of jail. Yeah, so look at this right here, you guys. From right here, Costello, Barthelemy, Barnes, Waterman, Asian male, all in a half mile. That is a tiny space. So somehow this guy was just, it was just randomly put there. Yeah, forget that. Oh, and then right down the road, Jessica Taylor. Yeah, that was just... Let's see. Jessica Taylor... Okay, what does it say about her? Hello, my name is Dakota. Shit. It says, my name is Dakota. I am an advocate for most of the victims of the Long Island serial killer. That was 2021. That's her right there. Originally thought to be a victim of the Manorville butcher in 2011, it was determined Jessica was a... So, I mean, I don't know about hers. It's hard to say, but... I don't know. I'm not really sure about... I don't know what the year is on that. But I thought this was the one where part of her... Wasn't she the one that part of her body was found somewhere else? That's it. Let's just do the Wikipedia on it. The Wikipedia sucks, Gray. I know it more than... Okay, I don't know. I just want to get the basic on here. In March 2011, partial remains of Jessica Taylor were found along Ocean Parkway. 8 years earlier, in 2003, other parts of Taylor's remains had been found in Manorville, a town in Suffolk County. The next month, in April 2011, police discovered 3 additional sets of remains, an unidentified female toddler, and unidentified Asian person, and Valerie Mack, partial remains of whom, like those of Jessica Taylor, had been found in Manorville years earlier in November 2000. 2 more bodies were found in Nassau County, an unidentified woman whose partial remains had previously been found on Fire Island in 1996, and an unidentified woman with distinctive tattoo of peaches was later found to be the mother of the unidentified toddler found in Suffolk County. God, that's crazy. I think that's the one that was in a barrel. Or like on May 9, 2011, police speculated that because of similarities in the cases, Valerie Mack, who at the time was unidentified, and Jessica Taylor may have been murdered by a second separate killer. See, the November 29, 2011, police announced that they believe one person to be responsible for all 10 murders. Okay. And that the perpetrator is almost certainly from Long Island. The single killer theory stems from common characteristics between the condition of the remains and forensic evidence. In the June 2011, Suffolk County Police announced a $25,000 reward. Yeah. Anyways, pretty awesome. I think that these 5 right here, you can't just ignore this one. Did they ever determine what year about that the Asian male was there? 5 bodies in a half-mile stretch on the same side of the road, and one of them's not related to the other 4? I don't think so. All right. I think that's it. Anything interesting coming up in here? Just not sure. Yeah, I don't know if it's one or more, but to say... It's hard to say you think it's more than one when there's really no evidence other than just sort of like, oh, their bodies are a little different. Like saying Barnes isn't related because, you know, she was... oh, that's right. That was the other thing. Her... What was it? The belts. Right? So it was belts instead of the tape. Jesus. You guys want to talk about anything more? I need to get some rest here, to be honest with you. It's been a really long day. I just had to switch gears right when I woke up. I was getting ready to upload get ready to play the M-rder Day 17 more cross-examination. That would have been really good. But then, boom! This is just absolutely just blew me away. I just had to jump on it right away because we've covered this many times over the years. That's why I have these pins. These pins weren't created today. They were created years ago. And magical... Who are you talking about, Nicole? Yeah, we don't do ghosts and goblins in here. That stuff doesn't exist. Ghosts and EVP and spirit boxes, all that shit, forget it. Wait a minute. Who's out? Heuermann! Oh my god, it said Heuermann! Did you hear it? I heard Heuermann. Listen, let's do it again. Heuermann! You hear it said Heuermann. Heuermann. Oh my god, everybody. We nailed it. Case is closed. One of the ghosts said it. It absolutely nailed it, everybody. We can go home now. It said Heuermann. Yeah. Yeah, don't come in here and try to sell your magical channels. It's not going to work. All right. Let's see. Huh? Wait, what's going on here? Yes, I will. Yes, I will. The magical... I will be speaking out of some sources soon. Huh? What's going on? Oh, Jesus. These people are nuts. I mean, I know the person's name is the magical. Yeah. Wow. We're good. Get some sleep. Hey, you're good? All right, cool. I used to work for him. Who? Who'd you used to work for? This Heuermann guy? Yeah, what did he tell you? No, I was not on live chat, but I don't seem to be missing anything. Welcome to the Freaks. Can you give a shout out to my brother? Hey, Ansel Brown, welcome. Let's just call you Ansel, though, you know? Welcome to watching the Freak Show. We're called freaks in here, by the way. And it's Gray Hughes Investigates. We're called freaks, and that's what it is, you know? We are freaks. That was the original mug. I don't want to be a freak, Gray. I can't join any channel that calls me a freak. I'm out of here. Bye. Let's see. Yeah, we don't know if that's true, do we, Plato? I mean, yeah, people always showing up, always insinuating. Yeah. Now, you won't see anybody in the comments here at all, Nicole. I'm going to delete you from the channel based on your last response. I can't see anything that you're typing. Yeah. Doesn't seem like he cares much about the case. Hopefully I'll see you people in the comments soon. Ooh, Nicole. What a ridiculous comment. What do you mean I don't care about the case? I've covered it for years and years, made multiple videos, and did streams on it. Who the hell are you? You didn't know anything about the case until you found out 2 days ago that your person you used to work for was the killer. You didn't care about it. All right? Let's just be honest. Yeah, but everybody's supposed to go, oh, wow. Ooh, 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 ooh. I don't know what the hell she's talking about. No, you're acting arrogant, Nicole. Nobody was acting arrogant at all. Nobody at all. There was people talking about, like, ghosts and goblins up there, you know? You're acting pretty arrogant. Oh, I want people to acknowledge me. I'm so important now because I worked for him for a couple years. Everybody, please. Please. I'll talk to you guys in the chat later. I'm so important. I basically solved the case because I worked for him 2 years ago. Everybody, please. Yeah, get the hell out of here. Not interested. Go tell your story somewhere else. Have a good one. All right. Yeah. Doesn't work well over here. I don't even know who she was talking to. She used to hold the duct. Oh, she used to hold the duct tape. Oh. Yeah, that's it. Anyways, I'm just not interested in listening. There's nothing you could glean from it. Oh, he seemed like a nice guy. Oh, he was now he's really creepy. Watch. Ooh, 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 he's really creepy. He was a really creepy guy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you'll have to find another chat to talk to her in later, because there won't be any here. Just shows perseverance pays off. How's that? What happened? I didn't see any ghost talk anywhere. Oh, whatever it was. I don't really care, Plato, what you noticed or anything like that. Let's see. Kept dead lions and giraffes in his office. That part was interesting, at least. Oh, great, great, great. See, I wasn't paying enough attention to her comments, so she got upset. You know? But you could tell that she wanted everybody to be really excited about what she was saying and just, like, wanted to run the show. And it just, I didn't see anything, you know, I wasn't paying attention. Because I'm doing a show, right? I mean, I'm talking and looking at things and doing creepy stuff before anyone else. Right, exactly. I know, that's the thing. I'm literally going over stuff and explaining stuff on the screen So I'm not able to read what somebody's typing. So, you know, too bad. You know, sometimes you miss stuff, sometimes you don't. I see you, Zozo, I see you. That's so cool. Look at me, everybody. I worked for him for 2 years. I'm so important. I'm going to be on CNN soon. I know nothing about the murders. I know nothing about anything, but I worked for him for 2 years. It's so cool. Yeah. What is, Kit? Let's see. Oh, she about the burner phones? What's too bad, so sad, Kit? What is? What are you talking about? What happened? Where'd something go? I didn't see it. Georgina Stoliker. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, next time if there's somebody really important that you think is something great, go look at Gray, look at. That's what the look at it's for. I mean, I don't know if people expect me to be sort of following along going, oh my God, that's so ooh. Yes, they do that on other channels. That's because they're not presenting anything or talking about anything. They're just staring, reading the chat. There's literally channels that just play these things and they just stare at the chat the whole time. Oh yeah. And they just communicate with it. I mean, it feels like you should be doing an actual show presenting information. But hey, Kit, we're waiting for you. What was too bad, so sad? What does that mean? Go ahead. Yeah, I said before the show, I hope you guys don't expect me to be reading hardly any of your comments tonight because I'm reading a 32-page PDF file. Let's see. I saw a lady said she was creeping her out in the park and she reported it. Right, everybody has a story now. Everybody wants to be part of this big story. Everybody saw something. I'm just going to go with the law enforcement part. Now, if a family member comes forward and says something, that'd be awesome. Oh, really? Cool. Hey, a different KK is in here. Is that a different KK? There's another KK with a space in between. Oh, I see. I'm not sure what that person was doing, but it seems like they were trying to sort of insinuate themselves into the case. And great, they might show up on a show somewhere, tell their story, and they'll get a lot of views on that channel, but I don't know. I don't just put people on that show up in a chat somewhere claiming to be somebody. We did the other night with somebody, because it was a really random case, the boyfriend of basically a serial killer victim in Mexico. And, he came on and he talked and, that was interesting. But he came, that one seemed legit. But now there's this huge case and everybody's an expert now. Right. I mean, she could just email me and say, hey, I worked for him for a couple of years. If you'd like, I could come on and explain what I saw. And then I might go, oh, that's great, yeah. Mm-hmm. That's how it works. Well, what do you mean, the other killer? Oh, the one that you met? I don't think so. Yeah. Unless the other killer's the one that killed the other three and their buddies. Sure, I guess. Like I said on the earlier show, it's possible that there's sort of like this network of people, or just one or two people that knew what they were doing and used that place to dump the bodies. Maybe they even took photographs and shared them with each other. Something like that. Who knows? Nah, I'm not going to do that, Daryl. Especially when just the way that technique is right there. I know you would probably do it, but yeah, I've done it before. I give people when they call in, they start talking, and then you go. But this one, forget it. I mean, Rue right out of the gate. I don't know who the hell she was even talking to. It was weird. I did a few days ago. What? Huh. Anyways, I gotta get out of here. I'm exhausted. Guy from Tijuana. Yeah, that guy, that came on a couple nights ago. Everyone's an expert. That's right, Kip. Who isn't an expert?
Everyone is an expert. Smiley face.
Well, I don't know if I told you guys, but my cousin's aunt's best friend's sister's dog walker was a friend of Heuermann. Okay? And what that person told the dog walker, who then told I can't even go backwards anymore. I can't even work my way back to the original one. Yeah. Yeah, there's no telephone game there, anybody. Yeah. Sorry if I let you guys down. I just didn't feel like entertaining somebody. Yeah, somebody's gotta clip it. I forgot what I said. Next time I gotta write it down so I can remember how to go backwards. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, let's see. Jesus, what's going on there? There we go. So thank you to Mag, Kathy Lucas, Piece of Me Forever, Sleuth and Sandals, Peter Brown Eyed Girl 714, whose birthday it was. Happy birthday again. Eugenie 6. Man, this is tough. How's this working? Already, it went so far down right there. So Mag, Katie Lucas, Piece of Me Forever, Sleuth and Sandals, Peter Brown Eyed Girl 714, Eugenie 655, Aaron, Your Gypsy, Kathy Freidenmaker, Maxine Van Dyke, Ozzy Trisha Still Got Nothing, Lisa Murphy, Callie Gal 3 with a double cat eye. Thank you so much. Very kind. Not Your Average Chick, Gwendolyn B, Robin, hope you're doing well there, Gwendolyn. Hey, Robin, hope you're feeling better. Emily Flotilla, American Lady, Robin again, Just Junie, Melanie Rintmore, Norma Jean Doyle, American Lady, Darrell Greggs, Mona L, M's Coffee Convos, Catherine Andrews, K-Me, Allie Cake, Cynthia Breyer, Bama Forever with a cat eye, American Lady, Kathy T, American Lady, Plato, Just Junie, Eugenie, Mag with a cat eye, thank you so much, Emily Flotilla, Robin, Danielle Chilcote, and then Not Your Average Chick and Kit. So I'm gonna give another 5 memberships out. Here we go. What's going on, Chloe? Membership gifting, and here is 5. Watch that girl get one. There we go. Hey, thanks, Georgina Stoliker. He also subbed. Who also subbed? Oh, he subbed. You're okay. Well, thank you for subbing, Ansel. I don't think I've ever heard that name before. It's a little bit like Gray, right? So here we go. We've got Marissa, who always seems to get a free one over here. AK Guinea, Purity, DMDJ, and Moonlit Dreams. Make sure to check those out and see if any of those are trolls. For example, if the account is created in the last month, it's very likely a troll. You know, that's just the reality, what we have to deal with down here. Name Ansel. Cancel land and climb mountains. Yeah. I guess I have heard that name in that case. Plato. Jesus. You just copied what somebody wrote right above you. No, Gray, I swear to God, I typed it in. Thanks for everyone being here tonight. Yeah, it was cool, wasn't it? It's a family name. Well, this is my true story. Is when I was born, my parents wrote L. Gray Hughes on the birth certificate. And then the doctor wrote Lance. He goes, L, what the hell's that? And he wrote Lance on there. Then we were family friends, so my parents just left it there. But it's always caused me problems because I was always Gray. I was just going to have an initial. But then, you know, your driver's license has Lance on it. And then, you know. So either way, I respond to Lance or Gray, but I was a Gray. All right. And that's a true story. I check in once a year just to verify again, because even after the year's over, I'm wondering, that can't be what happened. You didn't say anything? Yeah, my first name, but my real name is Gray. That's what I've been called my whole life. So my parents' name. He just put the official name on there. Can't believe they got the diploma. Yeah, and then my diploma said Gary on it. You know, so then I was wishing my name was Lance at that point. It's hard to mess up that name. I don't know if it was 1960 something. Nobody cared, you know. Yeah, I did a U-turn at the top of the stage at Oregon State and I got another one 2 weeks later. But yeah, they're not. Plato, go read the super chat up there by Not Your Average Chick, okay? Wow. Daryl Montgomery, my story is I was named after Daryl Sittler, but I bet somebody here knows who he is. Never heard of him. This is crazy in here, you guys. Gray, my original birth certificate said Baby Girl Brown. Really? You were actually going to be called Baby Girl? That's pretty funny.
I'll be Chewbacca if you want me to.
Great. My original birth certificate said Baby Girl Brown. Smiley face.
That's funny. Oh, I was going to say a sports person. You know. Didn't know who it was, though. I guess I should have guessed hockey because of Canada. Melina and her diploma called her Melissa. Isn't that crazy? CJ Tiqui. It's like, or Tiwi, or whatever the hell you pronounce that. But anyways, you know, when I looked at it and I was like, wait a minute. So you guys corrected the way I spell my name from going from Gray to Gary, and yet you graduated me anyways. So you're basically saying I can't even spell my name right. You'll fix it for me, but you graduated me from college. Okay, thank you. Wow. Isn't that wild? Thanks, Not Your Average Chick. Again, no, they hadn't picked a name yet. I was the last child. Oh, so they just said, we'll pick it later. It's a baby girl, you know. Oh, so just really generic. Baby girl. Yeah. I always like making Mag laugh for some reason. I don't know what it is. She gets all my jokes. That's the best part.
No, they hadn't picked a name yet.
I mean, I'm not joking. These are real stories, but I try to tell them humorously. You know. Oh, wow. Natural super chat just came up on screen for me. What? Nice excuse there, Plato. Nice excuse. Were you born in 1965? What, did you look me up online, Renee? Is that why you're asking? I thought your name was just Nordic or something. Okay. All right. Well, thanks, everybody. I appreciate you being here. Thanks for bailing me out of jail and working through the probable cause. I might try to go through it more methodically at some point and condense it down into sort of this really simple thing. You know? Like having his cell phone and Barthelемy's phone sort of right here at this time, ding, ding, like an animation of things going around. That might be kind of interesting. We'll see how that goes. But anyways, if you're out there and you like the channel, you know, you don't necessarily have to like me that much, but if you like the way we cover cases here, hit that subscribe button. Make sure to tell all your friends about us. And you too can be a freak. I already am one, Gray. In fact, I signed up for Tinder last... Oh, I see. Okay, that's not what I meant. Oh, you want to do a flyover? Okay, yeah, we need to do the flyover, I think. Is it this one? I want to go back to this one. I like this one the most. Got a lot of stuff in here. Thanks, American Lady, and Jay Tharp. Thank you, Gray, for always great work. Well, thank you. Yeah, it's you know, it's one of those cases you can't really sit there and keep covering it day after day. It's not even ethical, in my opinion, to just sit there. Like, there's people that did they just did Long Island every single day and it led to nothing, right? But why not help some of the other cases out there? Like last night we had a couple earlier in the day about, you know, two different ones that seem kind of similar, actually. But they're not related. They're just obviously who killed them, but there's no arrest made.
Thank you, Ray, for always great work. Thumbs up.
But sometimes you got to cover, I mean, you know, there's certain moments of momentum on cases where you got to sort of be in there covering it, and then you get out when there's nothing. There was this, I remember this guy, I mean, you know what, I've told the story before, but this is when it happened, was in the Molly Tibbetts case. I don't know if his name was Chuck or something, or whatever his name was, but he called in, because we were covering Molly Tibbetts and we were doing it every single night. And then there were certain points where there really wasn't anything. We're just kind of like looping and rehashing the same stuff. And he called in and he says, hey, he even would call in a couple times just talking about it. Then he called in again and says, Gray, it's time to move on. And I just went, God, you're absolutely right. And then from there we started covering stuff. And then later when there was updates, we brought it back up again. And that's sort of the way it should work. But if you notice, there's channels out there which, you know, isn't stupid if your whole goal is to get as many subs as possible as quickly as possible. I like getting subs, and I like building up people that watch. It's sort of this weird balancing act. But there's people that's all they want to do. It's just, so every single show they do is about the most popular case that is happening right now, every single time. There's no break to cover just the most random, obscure case that you've ever heard of. We did 2 of those last night again. All right, where's the music? There we go. Well, oh yeah. So anyways, I thanked everybody. I appreciate all of your support. And after the wrap, we're going to go straight to the flyby. All right. So thank you for watching, everybody. Thank you for all of your generosity. It's absolutely awesome. Thanks, Lillian, on the PayPal. Let me get that really quick. Let's see. I think there's. I just read Bama Forever's email. It's pretty funny. Yeah, so it was somebody I can't name. Crystal, a.k.a. Beaver Gaming Sub Crystal earlier, and Lillian. So thank you. All right. So thank you all for being here. And as I always say, everybody, until next time, be safe out there. Boom, 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 boom. Oh my God, is that a trigger bunny?
Yeah, I've been doing
That
this
ain't
true crime
funny.
thing for
He's
quite
got
a while
money.
now.
He's no dummy.
And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, thug rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector.
Hey, Gray, is that the trigger bunny?
On a stretcher.
Yeah, you've seen it 100 times at the end of the show.
Projector.
No, Gray, I don't. I've only seen it a couple times.
Nectar. Professor Gray is gonna give another lecture.
Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a protector, ooh, reflector, interceptor, and I'll meet a respecter with a vector.
On his pector.
With all respect, y'all, just remember,
I have a temple fucking
protection, I have no agenda, I'm no pretender.
And I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody? Talk to you later.
Gray, what the hell was your face doing on there?
I don't know, Mary Lou. It was just still there.
Gray, where is it? Gee. Oh, there it is. Thanks, Gray. That one's for Plato. She loves that shit. Here comes the vomit face. Oh yeah. On this side of the mountain. So cool, dude. That was bitchin'.
Oh my god, here we go again with Mary Lou saying that's bitchin'. That's a word that went out of style back in 1984, okay?
Gray Wolf's coming back in, just like bell-bottom pants.
Well, that's damn true, isn't it, Mary Lou? Hey, good idea there. Good thought there. Anyways, thank you guys very much for being here tonight. I appreciate it. Make sure to hit that like button on the way out the door. That is if you hadn't already hit it, all right? That's totally radical. Yeah, all right, we'll see you guys later. And as I always say, everybody, until next time, be safe out there.
Goodbye, everybody. Jay.
You always got to get the last word in.
No, I don't.
See, there you do it again.
What are you talking about, Gray?
You always got to get the last word in. You keep saying something.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
I can sit there for hours. Oh, forget it, Mary Lou. I'll see you later.
All right, see ya.
See? God, you always have to say something.
No, I don't.
All right. See you later, everybody. Be safe out there.
Goodbye, everybody.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Bye.
All right, I'll let you have the last word.
But you don't, because when you tell me I'm going to let you have the last word, you still say something. So I have to say something again.
Oh, that's true.
See? Like right there.
Yeah, how do I get out of this? All right, everybody, see you later.
Did you leave yet? Good night, everybody.
Wait, you came back on just to get the last word in? Are you kidding me? You went back on the air to get the last word in.
I did. But now you're back on, so I can't get the last word in.
Well, that's damn true, isn't it? Okay, see you guys later.
I'm going to come back on again.
All right, how about this? I promise I'm not going to say another word after you say goodnight, okay? All right, I won't say another word. I'm just going to hang up as soon as you say it. All right, I promise.
Good night, everybody.
See, I'll let you... Oh, wait, I screwed up again. All right. You can just do it. Just say goodnight, everybody, and I'll get the hell out of here.
Good night, everybody.